Hello. Hello everybody. It's that time. That time where we have story time. It's time for more post fantasy. We're not done. We're not done reading, not by a long shot. So anyway, tonight we're going to do a little bit of chapter 3. So let's do a quick little recap. Quick fast little recap, okay? I'm going to move over to the usual screen though. Instead of the Eye Alex Jones. As much as I love this piece of art by some anonymous person on the internet, I honest to God, I did try to find where this image came from. I couldn't find shit except for like posts from like 4chan. So I have no idea who actually originally created it. I think it was just some draw. Can I say the actual terms since we're on my channel and not Exedevices' channel? Do I have to say draw friend? Could I say the actual term instead? We're on my channel. I'm not monetized over here. So, like, it should be, like, okay, right? Should be fine, maybe? Kind of? Perhaps? I don't know. Anyway. So, quick little... Actually, before we do the quick little recap, let me get rid of these cell faces temporarily just to make sure we're on live chat, because we're not on live chat. So let's bring ourselves to live chat real quick. There we go. Bring these cell faces right back. Okay, gonna take down the music just a tiny bit because I think it's maybe a touch a little loud in OBS. Anyway, okay, so recap. So when we last left off, or should we recap from the very beginning, just in case we you know there's anybody new checking this stream out for the first time, right? Or the VOD, if anybody's watching the VOD for the first time. Okay, so we'll recap everything. Post Fantasy, or Touhou, a Post Fantasy story, rather, is a Touhou fanfiction. It is an interactive Touhou fanfiction written by Bob in chat. It is a story that takes place in the distant future, that takes place in a time after things like magic, mysticism, and fantasy have kind of started to decline and aren't really as present in the world anymore. Miko Hakure, our protagonist, is a descendant of Reimus living in this time who, this isn't a spoiler at the part of the story we're in now, and it's like the literal premise of the whole story, who is basically more or less tasked with trying to reestablish fantasy, sort of reestablish kind of a new Gensokyo in this era that would be very hostile towards its existence. She lives in an era that's absolutely saturated in a concept referred to as truth, which is the antithesis of fantasy, mysticism, and the kind of thing that makes a place like Gensokyo possible. Thus far, she has met a few different people. Namely, she has met a voice called Kyohi that comes from the Yin Yang Orb, a family heirloom that has given her the power to use things called fragments. Fragments being like these sort of, at the moment, seems to be like these fragments of pictures or memories and the abilities of the residents of what is at the moment referred to as the Land of Fantasy. You want tea? You don't have tea, therefore you equal miserable. Okay, Miko, relax. I'm memeing already during the fucking recap. Holy shit. Okay, keep going. We met Kyohi, a voice from within the Yang Orb. From within the Yin Yang Orb, we have learned that she is a Shikigami. Although who her master is, she has not divulged. And the only thing we know for sure is that her job is to kind of be in the Yin Yang Orb and to sort of help whoever wields it. We've met a fairy named Teki, who has severe memory issues, so she carries around a little notebook for her that basically works sort of like her hard drive, if we're to compare her to a computer. Her RAM seems faulty, and her hard drive is shot to shit. That's Teki in a shell nut. She's generally pretty energetic and very cheerful, and she was in a rush to meet Miko and make friends when she first saw Miko do her last rites for Rumia. Sorry, spoilers for the Yokai of Dusk, but I think if you know Touhou, you know who that is. Soon after meeting Teki, she ventures off to an abandoned area of the city of Zen, which is how she refers to the area she lives in. An abandoned section of this city, to an abandoned house where she met a ghost girl named Tomo, who turned out to just be kind of like this NEET who just sits at home all day and wants to watch anime with her. As far as we know about her so far. After that, the morning after that, we went back home to the shrine, and we met a little girl who we saved from fading away and dying, and we named her Igai. And during that time, we met a dragon girl named Aho, who helped us save her. Techie likes nuts. What kind of nuts? You decide. Brazil nuts. Or peanuts. Or maybe acorns. That counts as a nut. Maybe Techie likes acorns. I don't know. Can you eat acorns? Well, she's a fairy, so like it probably doesn't matter if it's like fit for human consumption, right? Anyhow, okay, so presently, what's going on now is we've saved the guy from fading away. We've met an aggressive dragon girl who is the best girl, objectively speaking. We've met Tomo the ghost girl. We've met Teki the fairy, and we know of the voice of Kyohi, and we have our protagonist Miko. Okay, so before we get into it further, I want to stress this because it always bears repeating. Keep in mind that as we read this is an interactive piece of fanfiction, so every so often, with every other post that Bob writes, he includes choices that the readers are meant to vote on. Now, it's not very clear on the Google Doc, because the parts that he puts on the Google Doc are just purely the narrative so far. But on the most recent parts, like the parts that he posts, the actual text files he posts, you would actually see the choices. Those choices are not present on the Google Docs, so it bears repeating because it's worth keeping in mind. Okay, stop eating the wooden floorboards. Oh, does she eat the wood chips from the house in the ocean? Oh shit! They needed her when they were shooting houses. Fuck, you distracted me with memes. Where the fuck was I going? All right, okay. So bear in mind, this is an interactive thing, right? So generally, like a lot of the choices Miko makes are usually informed by the choice of whoever happens to be reading the piece at the time. So that's worth mentioning. It bears repeating. Another thing that I want to stress, and I've said this at the beginning of every stream, but I'm going to say it now here because I say it every single time. I do point out some narrative consistencies I see. I do point out things like, weird grammar, weird phrasing, misspellings, odd punctuation. I point out shit like that because I'm a fucking autistic grammar Nazi, right? My general opinion is that I think the storytelling here and the characters here are enjoyable enough to the degree that I can kind of like forgive those things, and that those things don't really bother me as much as I normally would, because those things tend to distract me and sometimes even frustrate me if they happen. If I see a lot of them, they tend to distract me enough, and if there's a lot of them, they tend to frustrate me enough that I will just completely fucking put down a story because of it. Like, I'll completely, like, just kind of ignore it. Like, as a result. This story, they don't occur that much, and like I said, in terms of narrative, in terms of character, it's good enough, I think, that, like, I kind of end up letting them slide. In terms of narrative, in terms of, like, narrative inconsistency, it's a bit different. But my point is, I want to stress that instead of focusing on like things like the technical whatever, I think the strong point of this story is the narrative content. There we go. That's the phrase I was looking for. That's the phraseology I needed. Gonna piss on the earth, you idiot? Take that. Chunga, piss on... I mean... I don't know if Chunga cares. Like, isn't she, like, too busy being, like, held prisoner by the Lunarians or some shit? Also, hello, Junko. Welcome to this stream. Okay. I have a new guest streamer. I have a new guest streamer who could be joining us for these storytime streams. I'm not quite ready. Or, I mean, I don't think she's quite ready to be on stream. But I can, like, reveal my memes. Okay, here we go. Oh, that's the wrong one. That's the shit one. Hang on, I gotta get the good one. Fuck, that's the bad one. I almost showed the shit one. Oh no. Hang on. 1 sec. Gotta. There we go. There we go. Better. Okay, here we go. She's not quite ready for prime time yet. You know, she needs to be colored like Youkai over here, over on the right. But you know, we might have an Aho joining us for like future story times. Yuko Fumo is $200 on Amazon. They haven't done a re-release of Yuyuko? Shit. Dude, that's rough. I'm waiting on a re-release of like Rumi and Yuka because I like those two. Those two, like, Rumi just works as a Fumo, and like Yuka, I like Yuka. I think she's fine. She's the nice flower lady. Curly, you're confused. The moon hasn't started falling towards Earth yet in story. Wait, what do you? Wait, excuse you? Are you spoiling future events of Post Fantasy? Oh shit! Heard it here first, everybody. Wait, where the heck? Ah, stop! Okay. Why the heck is Chapter 1 stream bookmarked? That's weird. I hate to bookmark the Post Fantasy page, though. The Google Drive folder. Asana Reimu makes you cry like a bitch. Don't that do it to us all, though? don't Asana Reimu do that to everybody, though? What about Rei Reimu? What about that one? What about Rei Reimu? Wouldn't that one also make one cry like a bitch? Every time somebody mentions Asana Reimu, I always feel the urge to bring up Rei Reimu because, like, it feels like... I think on the Discord, like on the Executobytes Discord, like, it's the same effect. Yeah, because it's a continuation of the same story. I remember on the Executobytes Discord, when people would bring up Asana Reimu, and then I brought up Rei Reimu, and like nobody had any fucking clue that Rei Reimu even fucking existed. I'm like, how do you know about Asana Reimu, but you don't even know about like part 2 of Asana Reimu? Like that was crazy to me. Okay, Asana Reimu. Okay, so without really getting too deep into it, like without getting too off into the weeds, Asana Reimu is a comic. It's a fanfic. It's like a video comic about Reimu when she was small and Rumia when she was big. And then Rei Reimu, the sequel, is about the same story, but when Reimu is big and when Rumia is small. And there you go. That's the whole deal. Oh, fans being the most creative and horny. I mean, calling them horny fair? Because, like, that's, like, in every fucking fandom. There aren't too many fandoms where you don't see that, and it, like, for some, it's weird. But, like, it's hard not to find that. I feel like you've seen a similar dynamic in a comic before, but... It was Reimu's mother and Rumia. That sounds like Osana Reimu. Because in Osama Reimu, Reimu's mom is around. Or maybe it could have been a different comic with like a similar premise, I guess. But in Osana Reimu, it's baby Reimu and a big Rumia plus Reimu's mom. That's basically like the main cast. Anyway. Post fantasy. Let's get this in here. Tonight we're gonna do chapter 3. And well, we're gonna do as much of chapter 3 as we can because chapter 3 is pretty long. Let's here, let's zoom in. Oh yeah, that should be nice and good. That should be just right. All right. Chapter 3. Huh. That's certainly the first time you'd view fragments of the girl with the red bow, and it certainly was different. You elaborate your thoughts, but currently you have a cute, interesting girl hugging you closely. Again, you can't help but sigh as you wonder what the heck you'll do with this girl now. Repeat, do again, and you're already in your casual clothes. Sure, you don't know what you're doing today, but you'd rather at least wake up in nice, comfortable clothes than anything else. Leaving your room, and the girl who suddenly maybe started to live in it, you enter into the empty main room of the shrine. No one's here, completely silent and all by yourself. You smile at the thought of having a couple minutes of peace before everyone else wakes up. But then you hear the snoring. Ah. Looking underneath the table, you see Tomo is resting still. You forgot that she would be under there. Damn it. Guess this is exactly the place to listen to silence then. Well, in that case, you'll head over to the kitchen and start whipping up a meal to appease everyone. You might not have much here, but you'll certainly try your best to make something decent for everyone. So it's a shame then, when it turns out that all you can make is some rice, soup, and a single box of cereal you have. You still have even. You used the food that you took out as offerings for youkai, except you're worried that may harm the girl somehow if you did so. Instead, you leave that food where you usually keep the food you offer to the gods. You say it's a shame so much food had to go to waste, but when it may have ended up saving a life, you won't complain. Enough foods. Oh, looks like Tomo's up first. She moves groggily forward towards one of the sets of food you've made. No, you don't. Moving forward with great speed, you slap away Tomo's hand from the food. Tomo, don't go eating before everyone else is here. You should at least ask them when they're here if they're okay with you eating first. Come on, Tomo, would you at least have some... Tomo should... Come on, I can't read. Come on, Tomo should at least have some manners when it comes to eating with others. But the food... It's gonna get cold. At least have a nibble. No means no, Tomo. Doesn't really matter how much she tries... Doesn't really how much she tries to play the big sad eyes trick on you. She ends up groaning and moaning about it for the next few minutes before Taki finally steps into the room from outside. Taki, unlike Tomo, is up and cheerful already, even this early in the morning. You assume she's looked up something in her book about proper behavior during meals, because she's gone straight to sitting down at the table looking happily about not touching her food. Might as well make some light conversation before Igai wakes up. You feeling good now, Taki? Yepers, feeling wonderful and great. Thanks for letting me sleep in the shed. Eesh, Tomo's giving you a rather harsh look at that comment. I really want to tell her it's not as bad as it sounds, but really, it is kind of bad. He told her to take the shed because he didn't trust her about not messing up the shrine, but trust her enough to find Tomo by herself? Maybe you should rethink that later. It's been a while. I think I'll go wake up Igai. Hopefully she'll be most comfortable being woken up by you. You guys, that girl who clung to you like wet clothes last night, right? Almost first sentence. Almost first full sentence for the morning, and it's that. Does she not remember last night too well? You guess she might have been a bit exhausted after fighting with Aho. Yeah, she's that girl. I think she's most comfortable around me, so I just thought... Yeah, come on! You were talking so cool last night! Why can't you just keep with the attitude for a little longer? Before things get any more awkward, head off back to your room. Inside, you find Igai with her knees up to her chest. You can't help but notice how weak she seems curled up like that. You're gonna ask if you should even be here? But, like, you've watched Trails in the Sky 2nd chapter and 3rd without even seeing 1st chapter, so this is fine! I mean, look, when you walk into Sky SC, when you walk into 2nd chapter without seeing 1st chapter first, you're missing a lot more than if you miss, like, the first couple chapters of post-fantasy. You're kind of missing a ton more. I'm not gonna elaborate on what that is, because it's still spoilers for Bob Bob, but... And then Teki lived in a shed. Speaking of Ray Reimu, you're gonna go watch it again? Alright, have fun. It is a good fanfic. Makes it all the more fun when you start playing it. Well, yeah, because then when you play EFC, and then you get, like, that context of, like, what happened before you walked in on 2nd chapter. Yeah. Yeah. Have you... Okay, that's a question for you and Bob Bob, then. Bob Bob, have you gotten... I mean, I think the sales don't end until, like, the first week of September, I think. The GOG sale, I think, ends on, like, the 9th, and the Humble Bundle sale, I think, ends on the 8th of September, I think. I might be accidentally swapping those two, but one ends a day after the other, and they both end, like, around the same time. So y'all got time. Oh, cool. You purchased them? You just don't know when you're going to get around to playing them. Okay, cool. No, but you have them in your... Wait, you're getting Cold Steel 1 and 2 as well? You only had to get 3rd. You only had to get 3rd! Okay, I gotta move on. We're supposed to be reading a story. Hey, Igai. Right as you speak, Igai turns her gaze away from the floor to look directly at you. I made some breakfast. Would you like to come out and eat with everyone? Please come out, Igai. Igai shuffles around the sheets for a few seconds before speaking to you. What? Breakfast? She really was born only a few days ago, huh? Yes, you have a lot to explain to her, but for now, you'll just answer what she asks. It's the time where you eat with friends and family. Is that good enough? You hope it's good enough, except it's not good enough, because that's not actually what fucking breakfast is, Miko. Fuck. Igai's gonna go the rest of her life now, thinking that every fucking meal, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, is all called breakfast. Miko's already failed as a mother. Thankfully, you guys seem to be satisfied with the answer. Gets out of your bed to come to your side. Take her hand in yours and head to eat breakfast. Breakfast passed without any noticeable events happening. With breakfast done, you're aware that there's certainly a lot you have to do before the day ends. First, you should probably talk to Aho again. She said she'd be willing to talk to you, and it's not like you don't still have a ton of questions to ask her. Didn't she say something about not bringing Tomo with you, though? Did she? She said, well... She didn't necessarily say not to bring Tomo. She just said if you're not busy with ghost tit bitch or whatever fucking insult she said. In that case, maybe you should do something with Tomo today. Be that talk with her, take her home, or something else. Tomo did come over to help, so maybe she could still tell you what she planned to do with Igai. But when it comes to Igai, what should you do about Igai? There's that mommy thing, the fact that she doesn't have any real clothes and is still wearing that rag she came here with. And she seems to be completely unaware of some basic things in the world. As for Teki, there's not much you could think of at the minute, but she did say she wanted to come along with you next time you went out. Maybe you should let her come along and with whatever you may do. he'll do things with Youkai. At least for the morning. Yeah, maybe even longer if it comes to it. Specifically, as you look over Youkai in her rags, you can't help but wonder how much you'll need to buy for her to have actual clothes. Do you need 1 or 2 or 3 or something like a dozen sets of clothes for her? And sure, you have some money still from some side work you did last month, but okay, so this is another weird one. This is another weird one because based on some stuff we're gonna learn about Miko later, and based on some stuff we've already learned about her, I gotta wonder like who the fuck is she working for? And like, how is that working out? Just based on some spoilers I know, and based on some things we've already kind of touched on in story. No. You shake your head and reaffirm your decision in your mind. You go out shopping with Youkai and Teki today for clothes shopping. But first, you'll have to talk to Tomo. And call out Aho too before you leave, most likely. But they'll both understand. They're reasonable people. Reasonable people who call out insults like they're 12 years old. Pushing a tinge of fear aside, you look towards Tomo. Hey, Tomo, I was thinking I'd take Youkai clothes shopping today. You, okay with that? Aside from Miko, you're employed by the state? Wait, she is? Is that a spoiler? Is this new lore being dropped in chat in real time? Holy shit! Maybe. Tomo says, dragging out her words like she's trying to reach a time count. That's what I kind of want to talk to you about stuff, and not like the sound of going shopping. Let me ask you, you have any comp here? Huh? Oh no, she's looking at you like a sad puppy. Did you say something wrong? Computer, do you have a computer? I kinda left all my stuff back at home and I hate staying up. Wait, I hate staying still after I wake up. It's something I can use to browse the web. Oh, okay. She meant a computer, obviously. You can feel your cheeks go flush at the realization of how out of the times you are. But if she's asking... Yeah, I do. It's a bit old, but I think it still works. I'll show it to you before I go, but are you sure you're okay staying here? I don't want to be a bother. Girl, lad at Miko, it's fine. I'm not the type to get upset easily. It'll be fine. You raised an eyebrow at that. Okay, I'm fine most of the time. Your power of making jokes indistinguishable from the truth is the ultimate power. Excuse you! I think me and the rest of your chat have a much more seasoned handle on that power, I think, okay? Remember, you're gonna have to play Trails to the Sky FC again on New Game Plus if you want to get those fucking dragon coins and meet the dragon. Or how about Professor Alba, Tita's time-traveling son? To be fair, I don't think. To be fair, the dragon thing. I don't know whether or not you realize. I don't know whether you think that's truth or a joke or not. No, I'm not gonna tell you which one it is. I'm mostly memeing. I will tell you which one it is eventually. But I don't think you actually believe the the part about Alba. I don't believe you actually believe that part about Alba. You're killing the dragon. No! Aho is the best character. Don't do it. Don't do it. I'll bring her if you. Fuck! I already killed her myself. If you dare, look. There's a dragon track playing on the stream right now. Okay, from E7. All right, and if you try. If you even dare, I'll just bring her. I'll just bring her right back, okay? Because like, look here she is, okay? You can't stop it. You can't stop it. I'm getting fucking distracted again. You can see Yaga is looking at you hesitantly. Oh, you probably should have asked her about going out. Or... Wait, we're going out, Mommy? Or maybe she's excited. That's good. That mommy thing, though, you should definitely address it before you head out. Yes, we're going out, you guys, why do you call me... Mommy? Please be simple, please be simple, please be simple. Yikai cutely tilts her head in confusion at your question, seemingly unaware of why it would be strange to call you Mommy. Then again, she didn't know what breakfast was, so maybe that's not going to be an unusual occurrence. Mommy is Mommy because Mommy is hateful. Hate Mommy is my Mommy, she says with an indignant stare, puffing out her cheeks in frustration at your continually growing expression of confusion. Oh yeah, Miko's really full of hate. Techie happily pipes in. Definitely. I thought someone was getting killed that night. Tomo nods in agreement. What? 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 Guys, what? I'm not full of hate. I don't know what you mean. You rear back in embarrassment at everyone's claims. Sure, you get angry sometimes, but you're not full of hate. But Miko, I only got to know you because of how super mean your Danmaku felt. It sometimes still stings when you hit me. Don't smile while saying that, Techie. Dang. I can't imagine how it felt to get hit with a Danmaku full of hate. How the heck are you still really in pain, girl? You don't like being left out of this budding conversation, Tomo. What? Like, okay, see, this is another one. It's another instance where having the second person narration feels really weird. Because this makes it feel like Miko is speaking to Tomo inside of her own head, instead of saying that she herself doesn't like being left out of the conversation. It sounds like she's saying Tomo doesn't want to be left out of the conversation, not like she's talking about herself. It's another... This is the one part where it's like most weird, but like this is another one of those points where like the second person doesn't work. You hate and love this part? Oh no. Can we not talk about... Can we not talk about me being hateful right now? But Mommy, that's what makes you you. You wouldn't be Mommy if you didn't hate. Yeah, please. That makes me sound like a bad person. If that's why you're being called Mommy by Yikai, then you'd... Oh, I'm sorry, Mommy. Would you want me to call Mommy something else? Guy looks really sad right now. But she's giving you the chance to call her She's giving you the chance to have her call you something else. You'd like Yikai to address you by sis. You've never had a sibling before. Maybe this will be a good time to have one? Is that okay with you, Yikai? Yikai nods in agreement. At least that's resolved for now. Oh, what about me? Can I come along with you, Miko? Techie excitedly starts to fly, obviously hoping you'll bring her along for shopping? You expect her to be so excited for such a mundane activity, but... Sure, but you kinda stand out? I mean... Wait. Fuck. Okay. Sure, but you kinda stand out? I don't mean the clothes or hair, by the way. It's your... You awkwardly point behind Techie, who cranes her neck to see what you're pointing at. Oh, my wings, right? I've got it written down. I've written down a way to hide them. Now, it's just a twirl and a cover of what looks like pink glitter. Techie's wings disappear, though she still flies. So what you think? Can't see a thing, right? Yeah, it looks great. Techie, please move back. Please move back a bit. With a quick but genuine "oh sorry," Techie moves back and floats down into the ground. Okay then. I think it about sums up at least some of today's plans with everyone. We'll talk more once the three of us get back, okay, Tomo? Yeah, sure. Now, that computer you're talking about? Jeez, Tomo, could you at least hide your overwhelming excitement a little bit, don't you think? What? Tomo. I mean, what? Tomo, please, you guys dressed and Techie's floating at the door, can we just... Can't be serious. Yes, it's a bit old, but Tomo, it's not that bad. Stop looking at me like I'm a murderer, would you? Miko is an entire flock of crows. You're only getting the notification from YouTube now? That's rough. It's so old, though, Miko! Tomo yells at you loudly enough to make you think the foundations of the building are shaking. Sure, you are a computer, may still have a keyboard, and a wired mouse, and be completely yellow from age, but it's the best you got! Okay, this is something I glossed over when I read this. When I reread this a while ago, this is something I didn't notice. So in Zen, it sounds like most computers have a touchscreen or something, maybe? Or some interface that some human interface that isn't a keyboard or a mouse. Although it's weird to specify a wired mouse in a world where mice don't exist, so they probably still have mice. But this implies that they have something that isn't a keyboard. It's interesting. That's interesting. I didn't notice that on the reread. But like, isn't Tomo like a neat? Doesn't she probably play like video games and shit? And don't people probably still play video? Well, actually, no. Maybe they probably don't play video games. Maybe people in Zen don't actually play video games at all, because like, from what we've learned from the narration, the way the buildings are built, the way buildings are kind of designed and everything in the city of Zen, like they're like extremely like kind of utilitarian and sort of like minimalist in their design, right? So maybe people just don't play video games because they just don't serve any actual purpose. No, but that doesn't work, because there's a place in the city of Zen we're going to learn about in chapter 4 that throws that out the fucking window. Unless that place that exists that we're going to learn about later supplants video games as a form of entertainment. However, though, Zen is just one city. And my little hypothesis in my head is that the way things are in Zen, in the city of Zen, not necessarily how things might be around the rest of the world, right? Like, this is just one city out of an entire world, right? So however things work and operate in Zen, they might not necessarily operate the same way literally every other place on Earth, right? At least that's my own hypothesis. It's one of my hypotheses regarding this story so far, right? So, I don't know. Interesting, though. Interesting to note that computers don't have words in Miko's time. But I don't think it's a matter of, like, because imagine playing a fucking video game without a keyboard. That would suck ass. But there are types of video games you can play without a keyboard or a mouse. And there's a certain place in the city of Zen we're going to learn about later, and I'll just like wait until we get to that before we dive further into it. Who will confirm that that is a hypothesis. An hypothesis, even, if you want to be a Brit about it. An hypothesis, mate. I think I did like 17 different fucking unrelated fake accents there. Badly. Okay, let's continue on. Also, I like the detail about how the computer is completely yellow from age, which implies that it's a computer that's made of plastic. Meaning that, like, this is like a fucking Apple II or something that Miko is using. Because computer cases I don't think have been made of plastic since, like, fucking OEM builds from, like, 15 years ago. Now! 15 years ago now, not 15 years ago in the story. Like, I don't think plastic outer casings for computer has been, like, a thing. What's she still doing with a CRT monitor in, like, whatever fucking year this is supposed to be? The implication is that this fucking computer is old enough to be, like, Miko's, like, great fucking grandma. Okay, let's fucking carry on. I'm getting distracted by memes. Look, the hardware inside is good, I swear. It's just the outside that's old. I'm sorry if it's not good enough, but I really can't be keeping Teki and Youkai waiting any longer. We ran out of the room, not wanting to wait a second longer. You can hear Touhou's screams of anguish as he departs the shrine. Might want to turn down the music a tiny bit, even though it's like mostly fine, I bet, but like just because there might be some parts where I want to read quietly, just for, you know, theatrical effect, and the music is gonna bury me if I do that. So, excuse me. Let me scroll up here. While Touhou's screams ring out from inside the shrine, you can't help but want to do the same yourself as you stroll up to Teki and Youkai. Not because you're scared of going out, nope. It's because even though you've changed to a new outfit and changed the fragment you're using, you're still wearing black and red. Heck, you even changed out of your hoodie and put on a different one, and it's still black and red. You like gray and red, for goodness sake. At least you feel a bit more elegant, you guess. So, the only reason you even think that is because you feel like your balance is a bit better. Hey, Youkai, you ready? I'm ready, my big sis. Oh, good. She's already catching herself. Teki, please stop flying. Oh, sorry. Teki quickly falls to the ground, and taking Youkai hand, you walk towards the exit of the shrine grounds. You do take a quick peek at the lake to see if you can spot Aho, but it seems like she's already gone somewhere else. Okay. When you thought she would be elsewhere, you didn't expect her to be sitting out on a rock at the end of the path. Wait. When you thought she'd be elsewhere, you didn't expect her to be sitting on a rock at the end of the path out. You're almost certain the rock wasn't there yesterday. She's sitting there just staring up at the sky. I want to meme so bad because I have looking up at the sky on this fucking playlist. I do. I know I do. What the fuck is it? Where the heck is this track? I know it's in here. Wait, actually, where is it? Oh, there it is. Yeah, I knew it was in here. I want to meme so bad. Every time because people look up at the sky in this story so often, like, it always makes me think of that track from second chapter. Invariably. And that's not a problem with the story, it's just a problem with my brain. She's sitting there, just staring up at the sky with one knee tucked in, looking bored. How long has she been waiting here? Hey, Aho, you call, getting her attention. She perks up after noticing you and happily gets down from her seat to come to you. You tilt your head at that. Oh, no, wait. It looks like she's back to moving with that haughty attitude she showed you yesterday. Maybe you were just imagining things. Aha! There you are, girlie. Now ask your questions, and I shall answer them. Aho, I'm not... Huh? What do you do to upset her? She's looking at you wide-eyed as if she's totally unhappy with what she's seeing. You thought she'd only be upset if Tomo was with you, but she's upset if anyone's with you? I see. You've brought companions with you. Normally I would not undertake such a task, but if it's for the sake of someone like her, I guess I can... Hey, Aho! Teki, why are you interrupting the monologuing dragon? That's not a good idea. Yes? Wait, what? Any look of arrogance leaves Aho's eyes as she addresses Teki. Does Aho know Teki or something? That... Well... You really don't know much about Teki's past, and neither does Teki herself. Maybe they've met before? Flip. Are you coming with us? Damn it, Teki! You were hoping to break the news to Aho a bit lighter than that. You turn your head from Teki to look at Aho, worried that she's going to be upset with the revelation that you aren't talking to her first. But instead she's turned around? I see. If you're going to do that, and pause. I guess you're supposed to talk next? Yeah. Sorry, but you guys need some clothes. I need to buy some food for the pantry. I just thought you would want to come along, so I... Nope. No way of getting out of the fact that you were a tad too intimidated by Aho to even think about inviting her along. Well, then the fact she's so bombastic, you don't know how you wouldn't draw all of Jen's attention to you. Well, If it's for the girl, I'll excuse your lack of manners this time. Oh, thank you. But, oh no. Next time, I wish to be brought with you on one of these excursions. You've already once needed my help, and I'm sure you'll need it again. That's it? Oh, sure. Next time you can come. You guys just been staring holes into Aho's back this entire time. Maybe you guys scared of her. Well, bye. You quietly say as you whisk away Youkai from where she had started. Where she had stared. I don't understand. Where she had stared to plan herself, and finally leave the shrine. And that's why you shouldn't stare at people, you've been explaining to Youkai. Because I'll totally challenge you to a fight to the death. Techie, I don't care if that's in your notebook, that's not gonna happen. Youkai, for her part, looks like she listened well to you. The market square is as far away as Tomo's home is, but it's still a decent walk, so while walking, you've been explaining some simple concepts to Youkai, while Techie has been unhelpfully chiming in with explanations from her notebook. Just what the heck did Techie do to think the best way to say hi to someone was to shoot them? Sis, why do I need clothes? I like what I had before. Youkai, if you're living with me or people in general, you have to at least cover yourself up. But I was covered! Youkai whines at you. Yeah, that's technically true, but you know she didn't have anything underneath that cloak of hers. It's a bit more complicated than that. You're right. Wait. I thought that was a continuation. It's a bit more complicated than that. You're ready to go into another talk about basic human decency with Youkai, but then you hear the distinct sounds of commerce. I'll explain later, okay, Youkai? Youkai dutifully nods her head. Hopefully she'll at least follow your lead enough while you're here to not draw unwanted attention. Oh my goodness, this is amazing! Really, Techie? Maybe you're just used to it, but you don't think the market square is that impressive? The market's square? Instead of just the market square? There's multiple markets in the square? I mean, obviously, but like... Weird to pluralize that, I would say. You guess it was cool when you were a kid. Yeah, when you were a kid. It's probably why both Youkai and Techie have a twinkle in their eyes when looking all over the place. The market's... Oh, that's a typo, because this one's not... It hasn't been pluralized every single time. That was a typo. Fair enough. Market Square is one of the older districts in Zen. Because of that, instead of the extremely claustrophobic buildings that make up the area in your Tomo's house, the buildings here are more open and welcoming. Well, as welcoming as a place in Zen can be. There's almost nothing in between the stores, save for the garbage cans, streetlights, and benches. The benches for the most part go unused since everyone is too busy with their lives to slow down. Like no alleyways, there's no backyards or anything in Zen? Interesting. Or at least maybe not in this part of Zen? Interesting. But then like what if it's like a store, like a food store with like, what if they have like shit they have to throw away and it's not fucking garbage day? Unless it's garbage day every day in Zen. Which I guess would keep the garbage people employed. How big? But no, that would imply Zen is extremely small if like garbage day is every fucking day. And based on things we learn later and things that are implied now, we know that Zen has to be like decently sized to the point where they can't have like garbage day every fucking day. Right? Or maybe I'm just being retarded and this is just my weird Amero-centric perspective because like I don't know how garbage day in Japan works. I don't know. Where was I? I've already forgot. There's nothing in between the stores, save for some garbage cans, streetlights, benches. The benches for the most part go unused since everyone's too busy with their lives to slow down. Of course, there's not much reason to slow down here. The buildings and items within are arranged in such a way to maximize efficiency. Well, at least if you're someone who isn't you, it's easy to move about in there. The stores are effectively unmarked aside from what you can glean from the items on the store windows. The buildings themselves all have the same perfectly inviting design to them. They glow a warm color like a fireplace. Windows in place give the impression of a smile, and most importantly, to you, the insides are always the perfect temperature for any given day. You remember that you just used to come here just to get warmed up in the winter since it gets so cold at the shrine? I feel a bit nauseous seeing all the people moving about. Their clothes blend together for for you into a single congealed... Their clothes blend together for you into a single congealed mess that leaves you wanting to run away. Really, what the heck do Youkai and Teki see in a place like this? Or what do Teki and Youkai see in this place as rather? If you say so. I, don't actually remember where the clothes or food store is, so I guess we could just go explore around. I think this is a meme choice, because right after we have, Teki memeing. Ooh, what about this one? Teki, no, wait for us, we're supposed to be doing this together! You shout as you see Teki bounding off in who knows what direction. Tighten your grip on Igai's hand and head off to wherever Teki is going, doing your best not to lose her in the crowd. There's no opening quotation mark here. Which isn't hard, admittedly, because she's still wearing her same garish outfit. So that's one thing to be grateful for, you guys. As you rush into the shop, you're overwhelmed by the scent of fresh food wafting throughout the floor. It's a pleasant feeling you'd like to enjoy, if it wasn't for the fact that you could see Teki already eating an apple she grabbed from somewhere. Teki, you can't just eat that! Huh? Flip. Huh? You give a quick glance at Teki. You give a quick glance at Youkai as Teki chokes on the apple as she realizes what she's done. Youkai, please don't do what Teki's doing. Wisdom of 1,000 years that she's yet to obtain. Youkai nods solemnly in understanding. Damn it, everyone's staring at you. This is so embarrassing. You grab Teki's hand and grab onto that power you felt when stopping Tomo and Teki's battle yesterday. Wait, Tomo and Teki? Tomo and Teki didn't battle yesterday. I thought it was Tomo and Aho. You grab Teki's hand and grab onto what power you felt when stopping Tomo and Aho's battle yesterday. Instinctually, you know how you can get out of the situation and just get to shopping like normal. Typos Must Die, the new title for the story after the rewrite. As the whispers of the humans around you escalate in volume, you focus, see it, and there's a shatter for a second. Where the world reforms around, everyone, having lost their attention, turns away from your group, resumes their activities. The ability really is useful, isn't it? The looks of it, Teki and Youkai think so too. Looking at you with a bit more awe than you feel comfortable with. Clearing your throat, you address both of them. Now, I'd rather not do that again. We could please just do this quietly? Thankfully, after that incident, food shopping goes smoothly. They're going food shopping before they go clothes shopping? The fuck is wrong with you, Miko? Why would you go shopping for food before you go shopping for clothes? What if you need to buy something that goes in the fridge? What the fuck are you thinking? Zen is fine-sized? Also, it's a world of truth. Garbage is easy to handle. But, I mean, sure, fine. But, like, it's still gonna, like... We haven't gotten any world building on that. So as far as we're aware, it's still gonna build up like it does in real life. Like, there's a reason why, like, you have alleyways and dumpsters and shit behind, like, storefronts and stuff. Especially, like, food stores. Because they produce a fuck ton of waste. Where am I again? Thankfully after that incident, food shopping goes smoothly. You found some good deals, grabbed a couple sweets that you guy was interested in. Oh. The meme begins. The part of the memes on the screen right now, the meme starts. Got some good deals, grabbed a couple sweets you guy was interested in, and Teki even managed to haggle down the price for everything. You thought that was a lost art today's age. What kind of stores are these where Teki is able to, like, negotiate the price of goods? Or, I mean, I guess if it's a food store, it's like, I guess if you intentionally buy certain produce and go like, well, I don't know, man, this lemon looks a little shifty. But, like, I don't see how that would stop, like, a store manager or, like, a cashier from going like, Well, if you don't like that lemon, just fucking leave it here with me and go get another one. Right? I mean, like, it's a lost art, 'cause it's kind of a lost art for a reason, because, like, the way shit, like, I don't know if it's for a reason, like, could you, do you think you can get away with that at a supermarket? Like, just get some produce and go, like, I don't know, man, this lettuce looks a little shifty, I want to pay 50 cents less. Like, would they let you do that? Maybe not in a supermarket, maybe if you went to, like something a bit more, like, what's the phrase, the idea I'm looking for? I think like a farmer's market is like the right word. Something that's more like an actual like bazaar, like an actual like market, not like a store, right? Maybe then you can get away with stuff like that. Perhaps. Bob is paying respects. Tomo and Teki are truly your enemy when it comes to not screwing up? Wait, what do you mean? It's Tomo and Aho. Tomo and Aho were the ones who had to fight, not Tomo and Teki. Also, that's the part you're responding to? How far behind? You might be pretty far behind. I'm pretty sure we just had the usual delay. Ah, fuck, where was I again? Okay. And though you'd like to just find the clothes store now, Teki ends up for the next while, dragging you and Igai along on a wild ride across multiple stores. Oh, great, so the food's gonna get even warmer. Or the cold stuff's gonna get even warmer. And the hot stuff's gonna get even colder. Through one that sells glassware, another that sells electronics, a bookstore, and finally the clothing store. You will thankful to finally arrive at the store. As you see Igai shivering, she seems to be really scared of all the people around. Not the stores themselves, no. She looks upon the items inside them in wonder, but instead, it's the people. She looks to almost be on the edge of crying each time someone looks at her. Try to keep people from staring the best you can. Damn it to hell of that first chapter rewrite? What? I don't understand. Igai, how's this? No, it's too blue. Okay, how about this? If you like it, sis. This has been going on for a while now. You keep suggesting some clothes for Igai to wear. She tries them on. She says something about them being bad or only getting them because she thinks you like them, and repeat. Make you want to frown. Because you really want Igai to get clothes you really want Igai to get clothes that she likes, not that you like. Igai, I know you like what you came to the shrine in, but is there really nothing here that you like? Igai, at your honest pleads, turns her head to look around the store once more. Her gaze locks on right behind you. Oh? Something that catches your eye really that close? When you look behind yourself, you see, huh. It's a rack of extremely cute shirts. They all have different monsters and creatures from fantasy on them, in fact. You could have sworn these weren't here a second ago. But either way, they do look perfect for, well, a yokai. Or at least, a kid yokai. One has a picture of a red dragon fighting, while another one has an alternating spiral design on the sleeves. Another shows a mysterious figure fighting off shadows in the night with a checkerboard sleeves. The one that Igai is pointing to, however, is definitely pretty. It's a long-sleeved shirt with stars adorning the sleeves. In the center, there's a cute witch design holding a star wand. The witch seems to be casting a magic spell, creating a wonderful yellow star behind her. I like that one, sis. Finally, you give what you hope is a warm smile. Great. I'm happy we found something you like. That was so much fun, Miko. Thanks for taking me with you. Yeah. It sure was fun, Teki. You're not exactly lying. You did have fun shopping with the two of them. But it sure was exhausting babysitting the both of them. You wish it was a more relaxing trip. But come on, you two. We shouldn't keep Aho and Tomo waiting. Oh, please let the shrine still be standing when you get back. Before you head off back home, you fiddle around with a little trinket you got while no one was watching. You don't know why you grabbed it, but you got an interesting story out of it. You grabbed the book of plays. You can't help but blush as you remember what happened minutes ago. I think on the reread I had problems with the way this was presented. But now I'm thinking like... Actually, you know what? I'm gonna wait until we're finished with this next passage, because I'll bring up I'll bring up my criticisms afterwards. I'm gonna take a quick sip though. Fuck, you were 3 minutes behind? Oh no. Yeah, that explains it. Okay. I needed to hydrate. I have my problems with the way this segment is presented. At least, like, I'll explain it later. We'll go through the passage first. While you guys had stopped in the toy store, Techie saw one of those new toys that you swear have too many limbs, and which... This line is interesting to me based on a spoiler I've seen. While you guys stopped at the toy store, Techie saw one of those new toys you swear have too many limbs, and youkai, for the first time today, looked really happy and actually followed Techie. And Techie noticed youkai was coming along. This is also interesting, considering a meme that's going to happen later as well. Or maybe it's not, considering how that meme resolves itself. Maybe it's not interesting at all, actually. Maybe it's like perfectly in character and actually foreshadows that. Never mind. She even gave you a knowing wink to try to tell you, hey, I'll make sure to bring her back. You're still amazed she actually did without causing any chaos. Well, besides the pain in your heart you felt when Iga came back with a frankly ugly teddy bear and cried when you said you couldn't afford it. So with Techie and Iga off, you were left alone in a store you really had no interest in. So, of course, you ended up just wandering around the place. To your pleasant surprise, there wasn't just kids' toys there. Heck, there was something so much better. Books! The toy store doubled as a bookstore because, yes, the best toy in the world is a book. With giddiness in your heart, you slowly strolled along the aisle. You're trying your best not to freak out and start putting your hands on every book you see. When you spot a book with a rather interesting title. Well, it was interesting to you because, well, while it would... This is probably supposed to be well, because that's how it reads. It reads like it's supposed to say well. Well, it was interesting to you since you could read the title. Sure, you like reading books, but it's more so because you enjoy learning to read Zen. It's a fun experience, really, but that book was clearly labeled to you. 10 fantasies and other short stories. That couldn't be a coincidence. The one book you see in there that you could read, and the title has the word fantasies in it? Is Kyohi pulling your leg or something? We're doing this again. We're doing... This meme is happening again. And, like, because of spoilers... Or no, that wouldn't have anything to do with spoilers. No. It's got nothing to do with spoilers. The last time we saw it, no, we didn't know, because, like, no, yeah. Okay, this has occurred twice, at least. And I don't understand the meme. You obviously reached out for the book when suddenly... I mean, obviously. What do you mean what do we mean? What does she mean? What did she mean by this? What do you mean you obviously reached out for the book? As in, you as in, like, the opposite of obscurely reaching out for a book? As in the opposite of obtusely reaching out for a book? You obviously reached out for the book when suddenly your vision was covered by something so black you don't even think the brightest light could pierce through it. And you swear you didn't think it was just because it was... And you swear you didn't think that it was just because it was on your face. The lag on your end. Oh man, it sounds like you're still maybe a little bit behind, unfortunately. Ooh, this should do us a nice present. Still couldn't see anything, even though you're quite sure you heard the voice of the knot thief. Excuse me. Excuse me, ma'am. I can't see. Hair whip. Slap. The woman out of light gasp as she turned around to see you, inadvertently hitting you directly in the face with her hair. Dang, that thing stings. What was on her face? What was on Miko's face? She this fucking person like just blindfolded her to grab the book that she wanted? There's a conspiracy to keep Miko illiterate. Oops, sorry, must have seen you there. It's fine though, right? The lady says with a frankly insanely charming smile and a voice that was, well, you have now idea how to describe it other than perfect. Yeah, accidents happen. Holy shite. She'd make a way better mom for you guy than you could ever. At least when it came to appearance. She's a bit less than half a head taller than you and having milk-warm eyes that make you feel like heaven had just come down. That along with jeans that hugged her body a little too tight, leaving little to your imagination, had you feeling like a firecracker went off in your skull. She's even wearing a gray blouse that tonally makes the outfit look perfect. You okay there, honey? You straightened up as the Lady of Nightmares called to you. Yeah, I'm fine. Doing just dandy. You say with a bit too much force as the woman flinches back. Yeah, you're so happy no one who knows you was around or you'd died from embarrassment. But you'd love to touch one of the crossing out some memes, death memes. And it actually worked. You managed to kill your own impure thoughts with a new fragment. Really should figure out what the heck the limit on this thing is. But now that you're back in the right mindset, you should talk to... Hey, wait, please. Huh? Oh, did you want something, miss? The woman cheerfully replies. Yeah, I was gonna get that book before you took it. Oh shoot, she's giving you puppy dog eyes. Did you yell too loudly there? But look, it's something I've been looking for, and... Oh my god, me too! Isn't that a funny coincidence? Not really? Is her voice squeaky now? Does she find it that funny? Yeah, no. She's laughing. Totally is punched over like that. She gets back up and looks at you, using her free hand to wipe away a tear falling down her face. She was totally laughing at you for staring before. I thought I unmuted my mic, but I didn't unmute my mic yet. I'm skipping the musical spoilers and replacing them with musical spoilers. Okay, honey. You want it so badly. Here. Wow. Thanks. The young woman hands you the book, pressing against your chest along with, other things. What do you mean, other things? What other things? What else did we get out of this exchange? I want to know. The story never tells us what else she gave us. By the way, spoilers, sorry. But I want to know what else you got. Like, was there also like a scarf? Was there also like something else she was holding that she just like gave Miko because she was like tired of holding on to it? I want to know. Young woman hands you the book, pressing against your chest along with other things. Well, I have to get going now, sweetie. Toodles? Hey, wait! You try to shout, wanting to speak with her a bit more. You want to know why the heck she could read the title of the book, and what she wanted with it. What do you mean, why she could read the title of the book? What? How? I had this question when I was rereading this. I think I wrote it down. I think I sent all that stuff to Bob. But, okay, but the crowd of people in the store quickly cover up. You can no longer see her. The implication here is that, and then there's later confirmation, but the implication here, spoilers, it gets confirmed later, but the implication here is that, Miko is currently autistic. Please be patient with her. The implication is that Miko can read normal-ass Japanese, which in the city of Zen would be considered like maybe like an older script, and that they use some new script that for whatever reason she seems to be unable to read, which I think we've touched on earlier. I think we've touched on that in an earlier chapter. Don't remember exactly when. Might have been when we went to go leave to meet Tomo. But I don't remember exactly when we touched on that. But it came up before, at least once. So we don't know how far we don't know yet how far in the future this takes place. Later we're going to meet a character who gives us an idea of how far in the future this takes place, but we don't know exactly how far yet. So a lot of questions I had were in regards to Miko's being autistic. Please be patient with her. Buddy, that's not how you spell Clips VH, okay? Because a lot of the questions... Oh shit, I nudged my mic by accident. A lot of the questions I had were in regards to the new script, right? The Zen script. And those questions were, okay, well, is this a language that naturally evolved? Because if it's a language that naturally evolved, then we're talking about a time scale that's like pretty fucking enormous. Unless you have like a ton of language reforms happening in a very short amount of time, this is a time span that's pretty big. If we're talking, if one form of a language is completely unreadable and undecipherable from another form of the same language, assuming Zen script is like some sort of like is like inherited. Assuming Zen script has inherited all the characteristics of Japanese, or many of the characteristics of Japanese, it would be a really long span of time before it could naturally evolve into something that would be like indecipherable between speakers of the two different languages, right? Not only indecipherable in the sense that they can't learn, but indecipherable in the sense that it feels like you're reading a different language. So, like, for example, like if you look at like Shakespeare, right? Like Elizabethan English, which Shakespeare, okay, to be fair, because this is like a meme, right? The way Shakespeare wrote is not necessarily, like, some of the words and the way they were used, sure, totally how you might have heard some forms of English back in the day. But the way Shakespeare wrote, not necessarily how your everyday Englishman spoke back then. But you can look at Shakespeare now and decipher it, despite it being written like fucking, what, like 500 years ago? Or something like that? Somewhere thereabouts. Like, Shakespeare wrote his writings like fuckloads of time ago, and his writings are not indecipherable to your modern English-speaking person. And aside from some terms that are used, like internet and email, like things that exist past certain singularities. If you were to send a writing back in time to like maybe Shakespeare's day, it might not necessarily be totally indecipherable, right? But if you go even further back, and now you're talking about reading like Beowulf, that's another story, because Old English is going to be way fucking different to English as it might have been spoken in the Elizabethan era, or English as it's spoken now, because it's technically not even the same language. So, that in mind, with that context, fuck, dude, I'm looking at the scroll bar, we're not even a tenth of the way through this chapter, and I'm fucking going off on tangents already. Holy shit. Anyway, with that context, there's two possibilities in my mind of how Zen script works. If it's something that evolved naturally and became indecipherable to somebody who could read Japanese and only Japanese, then we're talking about a really long span of time that passed in between Gensokyo and now. And we're also suggesting that Miko must have been completely and totally and utterly cloistered away from that language. And that everybody she knows and raised her, and everybody who knew them and raised them, and everybody who knew them and raised them, and everybody who knew them and raised them, also kind of cloistered away from the evolution of this new language. Which is kind of a considerable feat. Especially considering we know that Miko literally went to school in Zen. So it's kind of strange. The other possibility is that it's an artificial language. It's manufactured, like it's Esperanto or something, right? So then, the questions become, if it's a manufactured language, well, what purpose does it serve? Why was it manufactured? Well, the why of it could be something that could be answered later, right? Like that could be part of like the actual setting and world building, and like part of some other thing happening in the plot, maybe, or the story, or the world. So the why of it maybe not really a pertinent or applicable question. Maybe something that could get answered later. But what service does Zen script serve to this, like, more or less, as far as we're made aware, like turbo kind of like utilitarian, everything has its purpose, no superfluous anything kind of society? Because it has to serve some kind of purpose for them, otherwise they wouldn't adopt it with the mentality they have, or the general implication of their mentality, right? Based on what we know from like what Miko's told us so far. Because why would they adopt a invented language, an artificial language, one that is made up essentially, when the old language serves them just fine? Unless, a possibility that I just considered now, as I was saying this, it's like for some kind of like Orwellian 1984 kind of meme, where like the whole point of Zen script is to eradicate certain words from the lexicon, which is a hypothesis that'll make more sense as we move forward. But that's one possibility, I guess. But that doesn't answer the question of what purpose it serves that would cause people to adopt it so readily. And then there's the question of how young or how old this language is. Because, like I said before, we don't know exactly how long it's been since the fall of Gensokyo. Or since Gensokyo disappeared, or whatever, however you want to phrase that. But we meet a character later, and that character's existence gives us a sort of general idea of when this story takes place. We just don't know yet. We just haven't been told by the story yet. Food for thought, though. Anyway, where the fuck was I? I went off on a fucking 20-minute tangent. Holy shit. He let out a sigh of both relief and despair. Because while the woman may have gotten away, at least you got this book. Hey, wait a sec. Why is the cover only partially on? Turning the cover over and taking it off, you see a second hardcover written in Zen. Oh, for she just got memed. She swapped the dust jackets on the books. So I just ended up taking the book with me. Wasn't one owned by the store, so I thought I may as well. But how the fuck did she know that? How would she know it wasn't one owned by the store? She doesn't know that. So Miko just fucking stole a book. You say as you finish telling the story to Teki and Youkai. You guys should be nearly back at the shrine by now. And hey, for once it's not night by the time you get back. Well, I love plays. Do a double take at Teki's statement. Teki, you can actually read this? Your only answer is a vigorously nod up and down. What does it say? A book of plays, assorted stories of the possible. Flip. Hey, cool! That's the book I've seen around those high schools in the city. Huh? You love hearing these thoughts? It's fun. Okay. I don't remember if I articulated those questions any better or worse in the write-up I did when I was rereading these. But I think that was in the summary I sent you as well. The same basic questions. With the same implications. Except obviously, like, I wasn't careful about spoilers since you're literally the author. Excuse me. As you three finally arrive back to the entrance to the shrine grounds, what Teki says hits you like a ton of hugs. That woman was a girl? Pantry's full of food, Teki's still wide awake, and Youkai is looking tired. When you got back closer to the shrine, you were surprised to see Aho and Tomo sitting next to each other on the steps. Sure, they looked like they wanted to kill each other, but they weren't. That's good, at least. As Youkai and Teki sit down to rest, take a step outside, look towards the sky. But you know what? Fuck it. I don't care about musical spoilers anymore. You're triggering the shit out of me. I'm gonna hide the album cover spoilers, though. As Youkai and Teki sit down to rest, you take a step outside and look towards the sky. Looks like there's still half a day left to go. Well, can't relax quite yet. Now the powder cake of Tomo and Aho are still primed to light up. You did say you would talk to them both about what happened last night together, so this is as good a time as any. Stepping up to the plate, you approach the deadly air filled with killing intent that surround the two. Tomo is still wearing a hoodie, though it's a bit scorched in some places from where she got hit last night. Aho, on the other hand, seems perfectly fine, though she still shines a bit, and you can almost hear the crackling of fire in the air. Well, it's nice to see you two are at least a little better now. Aho bursts out laughing at your statement. Ha! Fuck no! She's been bugging me the entire time you girls were out. Bitch got trust issues. Like I could trust some asshole who refuses to tell me anything and then goddamn attack me for no reason? Aho scoffs at that. Hey, what happened, you dumbass? Then how about you both tell me what happened? It's obvious that if you asked either one of them by themselves, you get a completely biased report of what happened. Like this. You should get to the truth of the matter. Well, as long as you can keep that in line, that is. Keep a dragon and a ghost in line, huh? You really are an idiot for trying this. Two of them look at each other. Tomo shrugs his shoulders and gestures to Aho to go first. Sure. Aho gives a non-committal shrug. It's a long one, though. It's fine. Please just tell me. Just please tell me, even. Aho nods and speaks of what happened last night. So after you'd fainted from your little savior game, Torpy revived started to panic bad. Didn't know what was going on. So like the gentle dragon I am. Gentle my... Probably should be a dash instead of equal sign. Tomo starts to say, but before she could finish, as a hand-me-down reaction, you slammed it down. You slammed the fan into your palm. Swish. Tomo. The words you were about to speak were gone. She's able to say them again. Doesn't. These weren't fast enough, though. Aho still looks angry. Well, as I was saying, gentle dragon I am. Told her about how you were, alright. She didn't exactly believe me, because I must have intimidated her. But I had a good thought. Told the girlie that to make you be okay. That to make you'd be... I think this is probably supposed to be sure. I had a good thought. Told the girl to make sure you'd be okay, she'd get in bed with you and hug you real close and tight. Wait, so you're the reason I woke up with the guy wrapped around me? Ha, yep. Tucked you right back, tucked you both in that bed of yours. But me, yeah, you were knocked out and the only other folk around was the newborn Bab. Took it upon myself to guard you two. I can unhide the music now. Cool. The Skull Yui? Is that like an animal or something? Something that lives in like the floor of the deep sea? Is that something that lives in like the Marianas Trench with the wood crawlers? Oh, thanks, but why did you do that? Why? Why should I tell you? Aho says rather angrily. I decided to help. You should appreciate that enough. Got it? Her eyes go into a slant with those words before returning to a lighter intensity. Okay, core's kicking in again. I think the pattern has been keeping itself up so far. I'll bring it up again later, maybe, if I need to. She just decided to help? That doesn't make sense. Aho's been far too aggressive to everyone and haughty in herself to simply be doing this for no reason. What's she hiding? You know you were okay with listening to her during the emergency with Igai, but now that time seems to have passed, can you really trust this dragon who's been living in the lake? Sorry, please continue. Yeah, apology accepted. Anyway, as I was saying, I decided to guard you two. Sat on the shrine steps for a good long while. Wasn't seeing shit until this person, she lazily points at Tomo, and that fairy showed up. I knew the fairy was fine to come in, but I didn't know a damn thing about who showed up with her. She tried to barge in without even giving me a glance. Let the fairy pass and knocked the stranger to the ground. Aho closes her eyes, as if resting her part of this ordeal. As if resting as her part of this ordeal nears its end. She was rude about rushing past. I told her, let's say, an appropriate tone, that she wasn't going to get through. Threw some insults my way, I threw some back, and then she attacked. Even used a spell card. That's it? You ask incredulously. That's that. Passed a comment that wasn't going to be helpful. Tomo was surprisingly quite during Aho's recollection of events. Tomo, is that all true? Tomo fiddles with her hoodie strings before responding. Yeah, but it ain't like I had a choice. From what that fairy of yours said, I knew that something was happening to a yokai here. I wasn't gonna listen to someone who, might I add, Tomo pulls down the string she was playing with, tightening her hoodie into an image that makes you think a tiger about to pounce on a prey. A bitch! Like, what was I supposed to think? That she was some kind of overly edgy good guy? No, I thought she was letting some horrible stuff go down inside, and I wasn't gonna let that happen. Tomo, I see. That's the situation. Snapping out the hand fan, you cover your face except for your eyes from the two to deliberate on what they said. Happily enough, it seems the general story that you got from the two last night was not that far off from the truth. Though, annoyingly enough, context makes it harder to simply label either one at fault. Aho was trying to protect you and Igai from anything that could hurt you two, while you recovered from the ritual. Though you don't trust her about doing it for no reason, you believe the end goal was true, as otherwise she wouldn't have fought Tomo at all. However, Aho's insult quickly escalated the situation without care to ask why Tomo was even there. Attacking someone before finding out they're a threat is rather barbaric. If she truly cares so much about protecting people, though, it could just be that she wasn't willing to take a risk at such a sensitive time. Tomo, on the other hand, only ended up fighting because she wanted to help you. She knew that someone's life was in danger and wouldn't accept having to wait before helping. Well, the sheer hate she seems to feel from being insulted isn't exactly okay, but you could assume that she was just running on an emotional high at the time and couldn't think straight. Having thought it over, you can see that they're both at fault for yesterday's mess. Okay, I suddenly remembered that I forgot to bring up the problem I had with the segment before with the lady who stole the book. So my problem, and I'm only realizing now that maybe my problem isn't really much of a problem, but like a problem is like, it seems kind of weird to skip to the end of the shopping trip, and we're jumping around in time a little more than like I'm personally comfortable with if we're telling the story from like a sort of like first person perspective, right? And we're not jumping around in perspective at that point in time. And since Miko is like the point of view character, you kind of want to be careful with how you play with time unless you're specifically doing something interesting with it. Or at least that's what my approach would be. That's what I would say, personally. But then the context behind that whole passage is that it was preceded by a choice. There were 3 different items that we could have picked that would have had some interesting story attached to them. One of them, I think, was like a bead or some kind of stone. One of them was the Book of Plays, and the other was a different item that I can't remember off the top of my head right now. And now I'm thinking, well, would the story have been the same or different for each of these things? Would there have been a different character that Miko met for each of those items? And would the main focus of the story had been the same? That being, she found an item in the store with Japanese text on it instead of Zen script. I don't have the answer to that, but it was a possibility I just considered when I was bringing up the issue I had with that passage and the way it's kind of like presented. Anyway, moving on. Aho, you're just a dragon whose eyes are still closed. I'm more than thankful for your help yesterday, and I acknowledge that you were simply trying to protect me and Youkai from any potential threats. However, good. Aho opened her eyes, but she's paying attention now. However, you were not required to attack Tomo for only trying to get into the shrine. You're obviously a very capable individual. So someone as strong as a dragon, you could have certainly stopped her in advance in a less violent manner. As well, it would not have hurt you to display some tact when speaking to someone who, I imagine, was not appearing to be in a normal state of mind. Different people for different choices. Okay. Aho's eyes narrow. Looks like she's about to speak, but at the last minute she holds her tongue. Odd, but a good result nonetheless. Yeah, that's exactly what I thought. Tomo's voice sounds joyful, but when you lay your eyes upon her, he tenses up. Miko? Why are you looking at me like that? Aho isn't the only one at fault, though. Oh, shit. Tomo's shoulders sag as you begin to lecture her as well. Tomo, there's no reason to be so sad. You came here to help Youkai and did not hesitate for a moment in any of your actions. Normally that would be something to be proud of, but when you stopped hesitating, you seemingly stopped thinking too. You didn't even bother to acknowledge the person who sat at the shrine steps. What help could you have possibly been to me and Youkai if you weren't even capable of seeing what was around you? And to be speaking petty insults to someone you just met is just disappointing. There. You feel yourself beam as you look over Aho and Tomo, who look less than enthused at your response. Actually, Tomo looks really pissed. Uh-oh. Oh, what the fuck? You're actually blaming me for what happened? That's... Ah! Oh god, you're reminded of why you hate ghosts as Tomo's face briefly morphs into proportions that leave her looking more like she's animated clay than human. But thankfully, she simply flies off through the shrine, through the walls of the shrine, hopefully inside of it, instead of going back home. Left by yourself in Aho, you turn around afraid you'll see an angry dragon about to bite off your head. Instead, you see Aho turning away and walking towards the lake. Oh, I'm sorry, the words don't apologize. Aho turns to you. Face full of rage, she bares her teeth at you. Stand by your words instead. You're really that worthless of a maiden to move back when your decisions aren't the best. Like a blur, Aho is gone. All you see is a large splash from the lake, where she must have dived in. Fuck. And now we gained a new meme. Also, this is one of the moments that... This is one of a few moments. The first one... I think the first one... Because I think when we first met her in Chapter 2, Aho just set off nothing but fucking red flags for me. I remember when we first met her in Chapter 2, it was nothing but red flags for me with Aho. I didn't trust her fucking at all. I didn't like her at all. And then, when we saw her sitting on that rock in the beginning of this chapter, looking up at the sky, all bored, waiting for Miko, and getting all excited when she showed up like that, I was like, okay, that's kind of cute. And then this part made me like her. This part made me like her a lot. Or it's one of the parts that made me like her a lot. I should say. There's a lot to like about Aho. She's the best girl for a reason. Okay? Okay? It's only been a few minutes since you managed to get both Aho and Tomo angry, and you're still panicking. Why? Why the hell did you act like that? Why'd you speak so harshly to them? Why didn't you ask more questions, and why, and why, and why? There's so many whys spinning through your mind that you don't even know what to begin doing. Should you go to Aho and what, apologize? Sherry got angry at you for trying that. And you don't even know if Tomo's still at the shrine. But if she is, what are you supposed to say? Heck, after last night and now, you realize just how little you know about her. Heck, you know so little of everyone short of Teki, and that's just because you took the time to learn about her. Can't help but let out a sigh of regret, thinking about what you had planned to do before. You thought you'd just quickly mediate for Aho and Tomo and then talk to them and Igai, and sure, you were gonna primarily ask them questions you've been having, but also we're gonna get to know them. Okay. Fragment. The core is kicking in again. I'm gonna switch track. Switch track. Sure. Core's kicking in again. So I'm gonna read this through and I'm gonna try and keep a mental note whether or not the pattern is sticking. I feel like you've been punched in the gut as the scope of how little you know takes hold. You don't know who these people you surround with yourself really are. You don't know where to even begin fixing the mess of truth and fantasy. You don't know what's happened to Kyohi. You stop your feet in frustration because for God's sake you don't even know the names of those yokai whose fragments you have. Big sis? Oh shoot. Turning around, slightly panicked, you see that Igai's managed to sneak up on you. How long has she been standing there? Okay, so it's a bit more subtle now, but I'm going to point out the pattern because now it's starting to get a bit more subtle. This might have been written after I brought it up to Baba, but I'm going to say the same thing I said to Baba I said back then, and the same thing I put in the summaries. So the pattern that kind of forms here when the core kicks in. The idea is that the core cruel reality is supposed to be like, oh, it's Miko's core motivation. It's her core worldview. It's what's driving her forward. It's how she perceives the world based on her experience of the very first day of the story. Okay. Well, all right, fine. So the thing is, that's fine, except for the skill description where she gains extra information. That hasn't happened yet. That's never happened in the story. Spoilers. And also, the more important thing is that even though that is supposed to sort of like affect her worldview a little bit based on her experience of that one day, and It's supposed to be like her driving motivation. Couple things. One, it happens very fast at the very beginning of the story. Two, because it's her core motivation, and it's her worldview based on that first experience, that implies that it is something that can change and evolve as the story progresses, as things move forward, as she learns more, as she experiences more, as more happens to her, as more happens to her friends, as they go through things together. That's a thing that's going to change and evolve as she moves forward, right? So then that implies then that cruel reality won't always be the core, or might not always be the core, right? So the problem then comes, or at least my problem then comes from the pattern that's kind of formed here. And it's not really here anymore. It's kind of gotten more subtle. It was a lot more noticeable in the earlier chapter, in chapter 2. And I think it might pop up here because we're like a fraction of the way through this chapter. It might pop up more in chapter 3. But in chapter 2, at least, there's a couple points where it pops up where it seems like Miko is on a certain train of thought, and then cruel reality kicks in, and all of a sudden it's like she's jumped tracks to a completely different way of thinking. To the point where it's like the core itself is like some external force. This isn't really the case, and it's not how Bob sees it, but I end up interpreting it this way because it's the way the narration is presented kind of made it seem that way, where cruel reality is not so much just her core motivation, not so much just the way she sees the world, but also is like this external force that influences her into thinking a certain way, at certain prompts, at certain prompting. Her thoughts suddenly like change suddenly to like a different mode. It becomes a lot more subtle and less so as the story goes on, but when it was first a thing in the earlier chapters, that's really kind of how it felt. Like when you, because like it's more egregious in like different parts, not here so much, not in this highlighted bit, because it's a lot more subtle here. It's a lot more reasonable here. But in other parts, sometimes it seems like Miko will be, like when she first met Teki. When we first met Teki, there were things going on where we were talking to Teki, and then Miko would be thinking a certain thing, and then cruel reality would kick in, and then suddenly she'd be on like a completely different like mode. She'd be like in a completely different fucking headspace in like in like the fraction of a second. Almost as if she's not the one who thought those thoughts. And that cruel reality is kind of like telling her to think these thoughts, or cruel reality is suggesting these things to her that cause her to have these thoughts. It's which is apparently not the way it actually is happening, but it's the way it felt to me when I was reading it for the first time, and the way it kind of felt when I was rereading it a little while ago. And I'm trying to remember future instances of cruel reality kicking in where it's like that bad. It gets more subtle and more reasonable later, because it does later as the story moves forward. It does begin to embody a little bit more of what Baba like intended it embody. But that was the pattern I kept pointing out. Like, so in the past couple streams, every time I brought up, oh, there's a pattern here with cruel reality, pay attention to the pattern. Every time I brought that up, that's what I was alluding to. That's what this whole argument that I'm making right now is what I've been building up to over the course of 3 streams now. Oh, I didn't mean to nudge my mic there. Whoops. We're 3 minutes behind again? Jeez. That's rough. Okay, moving on. Oh shoot. Turning around slightly panicked, you see that E-Guy's managed to sneak up on you. How long has she been standing there? Guess you came back at a great time. You came back while I was doing narrative criticism. You came back at a time where I was doing criticism of the actual story contents and not just like nitpicking the spelling and grammar. You did pick a good time to come back. Oh, hi, E-Guy. E-Guy silently stares at the ground for a moment before speaking again, though not lifting her head to look at you. Are you okay, big sis? You almost recoil at her simple and kind question. Huh. Some big sister you're proving to be. Whipping around like this after getting yelled at, when only a day ago E-Guy was dying. Yeah, I'm okay. A bit shaken after having a talk with Tomo and Aho, but I'm fine. Sitting back down on the shrine steps, you motion for E-Guy to join you. She gladly does, and you feel a sense of relief wash over you. To be frank, after that argument, everyone needs a little time for themselves. And you think you'll be fine spending that time with E-Guy. How you feeling, E-Guy? Did you enjoy today's shopping trip? When was the last time you had a casual talk with someone? Just about how they're feeling, how their day was. I'm fine, and I like the trip, she exclaims, in a much louder volume than she usually does. And thanks for the clothes and candy, big sis. You get a light chuckle at her almost militaristic posture as she gives you thanks. It's not a problem, I'm just happy you're happy. You're happy that I'm happy? E-Guy asks, confused. Yeah. If I can make your day good, then by the end I won't feel like I've wasted anything. What you've said is both an explanation for E-Guy, but also an excuse for yourself. If you fail to make up with Tomo and or Aho. Is waste bad? Huh. Why does E-Guy look so nervous when asking you that? Well, yeah, it's useless to people normally and hurts others by existing. Oh. E-Guy weakly sputters out as she starts to cry. A crazed frenzy of panic wells up in you. Why the heck did E-Guy suddenly start to crying? Can't you do anything right today? E-Guy, what's wrong? Are you okay? Big sis, am I hurting you? E-Guy managed to get her question out between light sobs. No, of course not. You try to fix the situation. No, you haven't done anything wrong, E-Guy. Sobs becoming lighter. E-Guy looks up at you, face puffy and teary-eyed. Really? With every bit of sincerity, you say the only words you could say. Yes. That's only one word, but okay. You wait there by E-Guy's side for a minute or so, simply letting her finish what sobs and hiccups are still coming out. Though it's only a single minute during that time, a burning question rings in your mind. E-Guy, what were you doing before you met me? And please, tell me everything you want to. There's an unspoken question in the air that E-Guy, from her expression of confusion, obviously doesn't pick up on. Why do you see yourself as being junk or a waste? You were. Or what? You don't know, but you do know that you weren't always like this. Sometimes, you remember people? All sorts of people looking at you. And they smiled at you, and you smiled back. You were happy back then. But then, one day something happened. There weren't any more smiles, just pain. You think you were hurt, but no one came to help you. Instead, they tossed you away. After that, you don't know what happened. I remember feeling so sad. You were very sad. Couldn't move and see anyone? Couldn't move and couldn't see anyone? All you saw was the moving blue sky and black night. You hated that. You hated that so much. Just thinking about it makes you hate. You hated it so much that every day you tried to touch that stupid sky. Why did it get to leave when you were stuck? You punched and punched and punched day in and day out, trying to reach out and grab the sky. You did. Your first memory is being you, was waking up in a pile of stuff. There was almost nothing there. But you know that they were things that they were all things that nobody wanted. Trash that was broken and pointless. Okay. When you finally could move, only barely so. You're so tired, barely able to grab even the blanket you brought with you to the shrine. You didn't know what to do, now that you were out, so you just wandered. Except it says wondered. The streets of this place you'd woken when strange. I think I'm supposed to say were. The streets of this place you'd woken were strange. There were so many people that looked really funnily at you. Scary. This doesn't really fit what's happening. The thing is, we're never going to find a track that fits. We never do. Fine. Good enough, I guess. Streets of this place where you'd woken were strange. There were so many people that looked really funnily at you. It was scary. You walked that entire night until it turned to day, and then walked even more until it once again became night. You were so tired you could barely think at that point. But then you felt it. It was someone crying. They cried and cried and cried until they couldn't cry anymore. And you know that they cried because she was angry. Because who was angry? Who is they and who is she? You loved it. You felt like your family, something you'd heard of during your walk, was there. At the place where hate was. So you walked again, hoping to find that person. Wandering around in whatever direction you felt would get you to her. And then you finally made it. To the shrine, you say. Finishing Igai's sentence for her. Can't help but feel that Igai's story sounds familiar to you for some reason. Did you read about a yokai like her in the Gensokyo Chronicles before? Was that good, big sis? Igai asks, so clearly looking for your approval at a recollection of the past. Of course. Thanks you, Igai. Multiple thanks. That was very helpful. You smile honestly, though you can't help but feel a tinge of anger at how she viewed and possibly still views herself. Her first real memory was her being with garbage. That's absolute. Igai, why are you looking over there? Is there something behind me? It's such an odd thing that you've seen it multiple times now that it completely throws your thoughts off track. Igai isn't looking at you directly. She's looking somewhere close to you, but not at you. Because you're there, Igai says with a tone that only kids can when they can't believe you haven't noticed what they have. She's still pointing just to the left of your head. I'm a bit more to the right, though. Yeah, but there's a you there, too. Igai's already starting to puff her cheeks out, running out of patience with you already. Might as well play along then. I hope that you can get her to be a bit more patient about these kinds of things in the future. Okay then, what's that me doing? Igai's eyes widen in surprise. First noted she thought you wouldn't at least hear her out. She just moved her head back. She looks sad. Why do you look sad too, Igai? Because it means you're sad. Igai tells you as she shuffles in place, fidgeting with the edges of her shirt. Oh, that's a good guess. Yeah, just a bit. Well, this is awkward. And now she's turning her head. I think she's trying not to look at me, but she doesn't look like she doesn't like me, so I don't. You guys looking rather fiercely now where you suppose the other you is. She's clearly turning her gears trying to read what that you is thinking, but you already know the answer. She's feeling awkward, Igai. Awkward? Yeah, it means she feels like she's made someone upset with her behavior. Like I'm feeling right now. Once is happenstance, twice is coincidence, but where fantasy is concerned, you don't think those quite exist. Hey, Igai, have you always been able to see these other people? I haven't brought it up yet, but I have an illustration of this scene. Give me a sec, I'll bring it up. Bring it up for fun. Fun memes. Hang on. Here it is. Here's a nice little illustration of this scene. Here we go. Okay, that's good enough. That's good enough. This ain't some children's picture book. Let's keep going. I mean, I guess the first couple chapters were like they had like the illustrations. It was kind of like a light novel kind of deal, but the illustrations aren't there anymore. Which is fine. Which is fine. It keeps the file sizes low, I guess. Which I mean, I remember if we were using the file size to determine how long these chapters are, then chapter 2 and 1 are deceptively huge because they have images where the other ones don't. Youkai slowly nods her head. Yeah, it's the way people... Wait, hang on. I moved ahead too far. Hey, Youkai, have you always been able to see these other people? Youkai slowly nods her head. Yeah, it's the way people were so scary. None of their other selves looked like they did. Some looked really angry, others sad, and a few happy. And how did you figure out that's how they really felt? Please don't be something unspeakable. See Yukai's face morph into an expression that borders on the same one she wore when she spoke of her hate. It's both a terrifying and sad one at the same time. There was a lady. She looked so nice, but the other her looked scary. She looked so angry I thought her face was gonna come off. She came up to me and tried to make me go with her. I didn't want to though. I wanted to see you, big sis. So I didn't go with her. And when I did, her other self was on top of her. They were the same. Youkai, it's fine now. No one's gonna hurt you, okay? Try to reassure Youkai, as you're definitely sure she's not just angry at what the lady tried to do, but also scared. What a hellish experience that must have been. Youkai lets her hands relax from the bald position they encountered. They'd entered, no longer clinging to her pants. Yeah. Thank you, big sis. Huh? What are you thanking me for? You should be the one thanking her. Despite the near upset early on, she's been a joy to talk to compared to Aho and Tomo. Looking down at the ground, Youkai seems too nervous to say what she's thankful for. However, he quickly turns to look at you, blushing and saying an odd thing again. Thank you for being so hateful, big sis! I feel like we're gonna get more detail later, probably. But, like, I'm not getting enough from this to buy trauma. I'm not... Because we hear Miko think about this story later, and it's like, well... Okay. I need more detail. I get that Youkai was fucked up by this experience somewhat. And I get that Miko saw that in her. But enough trains of thought for Miko come back to this story. I feel like we didn't get enough the first time. Might just be me though. But I have there's a few stories, there's a few explanations and bits that like characters explain to themselves or other characters in this story, like where I have that same problem. This is just one of them. Thank you for being so hateful, big sis. Youkai. What's wrong, big sis? What do you mean when you say hate? Because I don't think we're on the same page about it. You say as you tap your fan lightly on your chin. It's a bit of an understatement. It's a bit of the understatement of the century about not being on the same page. It's more like you and Youkai are in different books. Oh, I thought you knew, big sis, since you're so full of it. There's a lot of ways to take that, Youkai. Be careful what you're phrasing. Youkai twirls around on the spot, turning away from you as she speaks. No, she's thinking about something really nice with that. With. She's thinking something really nice with such a sudden pep in her step. Omit this word. Looking back at you, with the entrance to the inside of the shrine encompassing her figure, she speaks. So you can't stand how things are when you want to change something with everything you have. That doesn't fit. I mean, that's fine, but it's musical spoilers at this point. I mean, good memes. Fine. You can't say how things are when you want to change something with everything you have. Can't help but match the sun-like smile on Igai's face when she says that. What do you mean? You mean she's... Are you telling me that Igai shines like the sun? Is she Estelle? Can't say she's wrong. Then it's not a problem, Igai. It's just who I am. Now, though. Get up from the steps, turning towards the shrine like Igai is. Turning towards the shrine like Igai is. Big Sis has something she's hating real badly right now. I won't be able to talk to you for a little while. Igai's face does derp at the news. But don't worry. I'll be back soon. Hey, maybe you can play with Teki in the meantime. Wow, okay. Igai's gone completely stone-faced at the mention of playing with Teki. Huh. Do I have to? Wait, do I have to? She asked without emotion. Well, no, but... And the smile's back. Okay, thanks, Big Sis. See you, bye! She hurriedly spouts out before running into the shrine. Give it a moment for her to get inside before coming inside yourself. You got someone to speak to. That is, if they're still here, even. The floorboards creak as you approach the end of the hallway. You already gave quick peeks into the other rooms of the shrine, but Tomo wasn't in any of them. That just left the computer room. Admittedly, you already thought she'd be in there if anywhere, so you were just talking to her because you shake your head to snap yourself out of those thoughts. You need to be strong here. You need to be full of hate, with bravery in your heart. You open the slide door to see no one. No one there but the computer you'd left. Still on. You're too late. Tomo's left. You feel tears trying to escape. But you push them down. You shouldn't cry. Not about something that's your fault. You're the one who pushed her away with your words, right? Sure, you called out her behavior, and you stand by that it was the right thing to do. You have to, but still. Tomo, if you're here and just hiding from me, sorry. I shouldn't have been so harsh to you back there. I can only guess what you were like that night, and the way I thought of you is extremely negative. Your hands bull up as you speak your heart to an empty room. And despite saying sorry, I won't apologize. You say it more forcefully, diverting your eyes from the floor to avoid her possible gaze, wherever it may be. I wanted to judge both you and Aho fairly, and I stand by what I said about both of you being at fault. I just shouldn't have been so mean to you. I give you so much crap when you're just trying to help. Still no response. The room is silent, aside from the light hum of the computer that sends chills down your spine. The largest sign that Tomo used to be here, and now the only thing that proves she was here. Tomo, I even really know you. I wanted to... Okay, this is fucking confusing. Is this it? Is this always going to be so hard losing someone? Even if it's not forever? Tears that are pooling at your palms indicate so, at least. The knowledge that it's not too late to fix things with at least one person, though, as you push the tears out of your eyes. Your sobs dissipate with renewed vigor as you turn around and... Fuck! Tomo's right there, goddamn, against your face! Ah! You scream, because... Holy shite. It's like those horror movies. Tomo's already totally about to kill you as revenge for pissing her off. That's why she has that manic smile, and that means she's gonna enjoy hugging you. Hold on, hugging you? Yeah. That's what Tomo's doing right now. Tomo, You squeak out, still shocked at her sudden appearance. How long were you listening? Letting go, Tomo lets off a light kekeke. Long enough, Miko. Long enough. Ow! What's with that sly grin? It really pisses you off. You can imagine yourself lighting up like a Christmas tree when you speak again. Then why did you say anything sooner? I poured out my heart. You were just behind me the entire time, listening and laughing. So you back off as quickly as fearing that your sudden outburst after the genuine speech you gave would make the later seem insincere. What's going on? Are you missing many a context? Okay, so alright, here's the context that you're missing here. And I think you've been away for a long enough time that I probably should bring up what's happened so far in Chapter 3. So in Chapter 1, we met Teki, who's a forgetful fairy, and we also met Tomo, and we hung out with her at her house and we watched Unlimited Blade Works, and then we came home the next day. That's when we met Igai. Igai started fading and dying before Miko's eyes, so she had to try and help her. And that's when Aho showed up to help her. Then Tomo and Aho got in a fight. So at the beginning of this chapter, we went out shopping for food, and we also got clothes for Igai because Igai was wearing literally rags from a landfill. So, when we got home, we saw Aho and Tomo staring daggers at each other, and Teki went off to do her own thing, and Igai went off somewhere. So Miko decided, okay, we said we were going to talk about the fight last night, so let's deal with this now. So when she heard the story being that Tomo walked up to the shrine to help Miko and Igai, and this was after Miko had already done what she did to save Igai after taking like instruction from Aho. So Aho was watching the shrine, making sure like nobody could come and like hurt the two of them, and she let Teki in because she knew Teki was like okay and trusted, but she didn't know anything about Tomo, so she knocked her to the ground to keep her from entering the shrine. So Tomo got mad, insulted her, they ended up fighting. So after hearing the story in this chapter, Miko decides, okay, you're both at fault, and I'm going to reprimand both of you. And as a result, both of them got pissed off at her, and they both walked away. So Aho right now is still in the lake, and Tomo, we don't really know if she left or if she was just hiding somewhere, but she just heard Miko like basically try to apologize to her, and now she's like okay with her. And that's basically a very quick rundown of what's happened so far. That's the super quick rundown of like the context we're missing. But are you okay? Are we, Shaking her head and lifting her shoulder in a shrug, Tomo gives you a half-cocked Cheshire grin. Yeah. We're fine now. Can't say mad at you when you give such a cheesy speech and bawl your eyes out, too. Murder, my poor heart. Looking down at the floorboards again. Though, this time, it's to hide the blush on your face. Can't stop being embarrassed that you actually gave a speech that sounds like it's out of a bad book. Well, were you really there the entire time, Tomo? Nervously ask, hoping she at least didn't hear your ugly sobbing sounds. No, Tomo says, changing her expression to one a mite more serious than what you'd expect after being so jovial. Miko, why don't you pull up a few pillows and take a seat? And hell, let's get Teki to make some tea too. We got a lot to talk about. I forgot that Aho and Tomo are secretly XK lovers, and that's why they're really Excuse you? Is this confirmation of reality from... Is this... Hang on! No, you're not... You're not allowed to meme when you're the author, stop! What is the conspiracy board bullshit? Exactly! You can't meme when you're the author, that's not fair. The red pillow underneath you sits comfortable. Though, while you sit on it without problems, on your knees, Tomo stopped after only a few seconds and changed to be sitting on her butt, legs crisscrossed. You think to yourself that you might as well make some small talk while the two of you wait for T to arrive. So, how was the computer? Well, Tomo tilts her head in brief thought. You weren't wrong about the specs being up to date. But that case and keyboard are totally liable to break into pieces. Tomo smiles at we can only assume is a happy thought. No, didn't get much of a chance to use it. Okay. Tomo looks back at you. With that... Excuse you? Why are you memeing? Bit of your insanity taken form? Fair enough, I guess. Tomo looks back at you. Still with that same smile on her face. Don't care, but... Want to know, by the way. You barely spoke a word of me since you are a little lecture. What are you doing? Oh, I was speaking to youkai. We talked about a lot of things, actually. You've got a similar smile on your face now that you think about it. That's what you're getting out of that, kid? Tomo huffs out. I didn't mean to read that as homo, okay? That was a mistake. I fucking accidentally spoonerized these words, okay? Fucking YouTube censors, please. Don't cancel me. I say that, but I've said so much worse shit on this channel, like just for my dramatic reading videos, to be fair. And those weren't any of my own words, by the way. Those were words that I was reading because the whole point is that they're ridiculous things and it's to point and laugh at them in case anybody's too fucking obtuse in the head to understand that. Panned and reported. In that order. I mean, that is the way it happens nowadays, isn't it? What do you mean? Is it obvious, girl? It's all gonna be your emo pillar. Tomo says while drawing an image of her hands of a tall object, which you guess is supposed to be a pillar? Is it a pillar of... Is it a pillar made of... Stop, don't fucking meme. Don't fucking meme. God. Is it a pillar of salt? I can't fucking help it, okay? I can't help it. I've been playing Trails in the Sky lately, okay? I can't help but meme. Tomo says while drawing an image of her hands. An image with her hands, I think he meant to say. Of a tall object, which you guess is supposed to be a pillar? Looks more like a vase to you, but you get the point. Somewhat. Emo pillar? Emo. Short for emotional. Gods, how did I forget how behind the times you are? So, Tomo's words would normally indicate Tomo's upset with what you assume is a stupid question. Her tone makes it clear that she's just playing around with you. Knock, knock. From the other side of the door, you can hear Techi's voice. The tea's ready if you guys are. Yeah. Come in, Tech. Tomo says, beckoning Techie inside. And on the fourth day, God said, no fucking neats in my world. If any appear, I'll make them into a pillar of salt. Bob. You look. You don't look. I get it. Okay. You don't know the meme yet. Okay. You don't know the meme yet. But like it's fine. Okay. Just chill. Just chill. Just fucking chill. Just chill out, please. I don't. Look, I don't need Tomo to become a pillar of salt. Fuck, you're making me want to meme even more, and if I keep memeing, it's gonna become spoilers after a certain point. No, it's not that. No, it's not that you predicted something. It's that I made a meme regarding something you haven't seen yet. And what you said has implications based on memes you don't know yet. But you will learn them in Trails in the Sky. Like, you don't have to go to Crossbell or Cold Steel to learn those memes. But they're memes you don't know yet. That's it. That's that's the long and short of it. The memes. DNA of the soul, Jack. Where the fuck were we? Oh, yeah. Techie opens the door. She's hunched over, looking at the floor rather than at us. Can't help but feel... Hang on. When Techie opens the door, she's hunched over, looking at the floor rather than at us. Why is that sentence first person, and then we go back to the second person? Mysterious. Can't help but feel bad at how clearly nervous she's feeling. Either she lurked at the fight simply from overhearing it, or Igai told her what happened. Quickly flying over to the mat you put between you and Tomo, she places the tray down. On the tray is 2 small teacups filled with a kettle of green tea. Giving a bow, Techie quickly leaves the room without another word, seeming to understand that whatever you and Tomo were about to talk about was important and private. She left the two of you alone after delivering the green tea. Tomo picked up the kettle and pours you both a cup. Thanks. What is this all about? Why is the atmosphere completely different every time you meet Tomo? And what the heck is this all about? No problem, Tomo says, and then proceeds to take a long sip of her cup, seeming not to care about the heat, which reminds you with that new fragment. Yep, your body's naturally lower temperature makes the hot tea much cooler to your lips. So I guess I'll start with returning your apology. Yes, I know you don't think it's that, but something I normally wouldn't tell someone. You wave your hands frantically to stop Tomo from speaking anymore. Wait, I didn't do anything special. Are you sure you want to tell me something if it'll make you uncomfortable? Tomo's grin widens at your question. No. I think it's just kind of nice to do since, well, you did say you wanted to get to know me better. God, blush, go away! I'll ask, since you're such a newbie in this part of the world, but have you figured it out yet? Thing that connects all us beings of fantasy, as you call us? Well, of course, it's that truth hurts you, among a few other things. Duh. You aren't an idiot. Nah, Tomo says, waving her hand dismissively. Showing you that on one side of her hoodie are drawn... I shouldn't be looking at OBS when I'm trying to read. Tomo says, waving her hand dismissively, showing you that on one side of her hoodie are drawn-on cat claws. And what's I talking about? It's our abilities. Why the heck is she leaning forward and whispering like that's a secret? Wait. Abilities? You mean everyone has something like my fragments? That would change everything. Except Tomo clearly doesn't know what you mean when you say fragments. Nah, I don't know what that is. Is it something innate to you? Something special that only you can do? If it ain't, it isn't your ability. Well, I guess not. After all, I think after all should be 2 words, not one like that. After all, if you had a twin sister or something, they could have taken the power of the Yang Orb instead, right? She said twin sister, not twin sisters. I'm sorry, I'm really autistic about this one. I know singular they is a thing, but like it's a weird fucking pet peeve of mine. I know I know it works and it's accepted and like nobody hates it and it's like a historically like it's been a long accepted thing for like hundreds of years. Whatever. I'm just like super spectrum about it. My peeve is why are you altering the story as I read it? Excuse me? Why are you talking about my peeve? Fucking pervert. Get rid of that extra space now. After all, if you had a twin sister or something, they could have taken the special power of the Yang Orb instead, right? So, that's an ability? Something that makes you special? That extra space is still there. I can see it clear as day. Tomo shakes her head. More or less. I mean, I ain't got a clue what Techie or Igai or that bitchy dragon's abilities are. But they definitely have them. And that's for you. I don't know how you can do what you do. But if it's got some kind of item, that makes sense. Never met a human with an ability. Don't think they can have one. Recall the conversation that you had with Igai about her seeing duplicates of others. Is that her ability? Oh, what's your ability, Tomo? Tomo lights up in excitement at your question. You want to see? Sure. Please don't end up regretting this. Just say my name in 5 seconds, okay? Wait, what do you mean? Tomo? With a pop sound, Tomo suddenly disappears from the room. You're so shocked it takes you 8 seconds to speak. Tomo, where the heck? Pop. Ta-da! Ah! Tomo just appeared right in front of your face, looking like a magician's assistant that just came out of the box. What just happened? Where did you go? Demand an answer from Tomo because, God, your heart is pounding way too fast now. That, with a very inelegant twirl, Tomo returns to your seat. It's my ability to travel to wherever I'm spoken of. You must look very confused because Tomo explains further without any prompting. It means that if anyone says, writes, or mentions me in any way, I'll know. I can travel directly to them. That's why I use the internet. Helps to spread my name to everyone. Clever, huh? So, okay, so this is something I didn't catch when I read this the first time, or I don't know if I caught it when I read it the first time, but I definitely didn't catch it on the reread. But I'm catching it now. If anyone says, writes, or mentions me in any way, meaning she doesn't. Her name doesn't have to be spoken aloud. It could just be like written down. And also, this third bit implies that she doesn't have to be named. Meaning that if Aho is talking to Miko in conversation, for example, and like just refers to the ghost bitch, Tomo knows. Because she's being mentioned. Also, I think anyway here, if we're going to nitpick, anyway here should be 2 words. But, bro, where the fuck did... Okay. Fucking okay. This takes sneezing to a whole different level, pretty much. Tomo is the anime meme. Oh, fuck. Spoilers. Spoilers. I shouldn't even said they were spoilers, because now you know the spoiler. Fuck. My bad. Spoilers for the game that I'm going to stream in exactly a month from now. Well, musical spoilers. But the musical spoilers had a very strong spoiler energy, okay? That's what I'm trying to imply. Anyway, so that means, like, you can refer to Tomo without actually saying her name, and she should be able to hear it and, like, find you. Or at least that's what this third part implies. Like, if anyone says, writes, or mentions me in any way. In any way. And I assume that's supposed to be anyway and not anyway. But it's that specific wording is anyway that's catching me. Ah. Okay. Tomo. Oh, I didn't even realize that was a line break there. Okay, yeah, because like half of the paragraph was up here. Okay, cool. Tomo was puffing around her chest, looking rather happy with herself after explaining what she can do. And you have to admit, it sounds pretty impressive and clever. That's really cool, actually. After all, no reason not to be honest with her. Oh yeah, that's right. Is that what you wanted to talk to me about this morning? Tomo bolts up slightly and blushes at your question. Well, no, she says, rubbing the back of her head. I wanted to talk about Touhou and what you two did to that kid. Oh, that's a volatile topic, huh? But if Tomo's embarrassed to bring it up, then maybe there's some hope in a reasonable conversation. Okay, well, what do you want to know? Pulling her legs to be up against her chest, Tomo asks you to recount the events of last night before she and Teki arrived. You tell her of your attempts to help Igai, looking around the shrine for things that may save her, meeting Aho, the prayer, everything. Why shouldn't you say it to hear, after all? Cruel reality. It's kicking in again. Well, maybe she'll misconstrue something Aho did as justifying her actions last night. That's a reason, definitely, and in fact, you were right earlier. You know so little about Touhou still, and you want to trust her. You don't know if you should. You end up leaving out the trip to the sea. Okay, this is the pattern. Remember, okay, I kept memeing how there was a pattern being established. I argued what that pattern is, and we're see it's a bit more subtle here. It's more subtle here than it is in some other parts, but it's still there. It's still present. And then I woke up, and you know the rest. You say, finishing your account of what happened. Wow, she really is just a bitch, huh? Wait, hold on, Tomo. Can you not call Aho that? She helped me save the guy's life. Do you really think... Trying to get out some words, just in hopes to mend Tomo and Aho's relationship even slightly, but she cuts you off. No, are you thinking, girl? Because clearly, you're not thinking this entire thing... Are you not thinking this entire thing is suspicious? Tomo says, pointing an accusatory finger at you. Feeling a stone drop in your stomach. You still yet ask her, what do you mean? I see you when you're back, Tak. Think about it. Same day, a yokai kid comes to your shrine dying. This mysterious savior shows up at from the bottom of the lake to save him. It sounds to me like she used whatever her ability is on you too. That knowledge you have now. But that's just some kind of subtle mind control she put on you. Or on the kid through that ritual you did that you don't even know really worked. Tomo, that's ridiculous. She wouldn't do that. You don't know that. You don't know that, Tomo says, reiterating the point you've already realized in your head. And like, I know why you trust her. She saved a life, yada yada yada. That doesn't mean much. Doubt rolls across your face. You aren't sure what to think of this. You really need to ask Tomo some questions about her past at some point, since you don't know anything about Tomo past. But, in all honesty, you should be asking the same to Aho, right? So, it's really not fair to just throw out what Tomo's saying. Look, girl, I'll drop the subject for now since you're obviously not sure about this. But I'm hoping you'll see my side of things in time. If you aren't mind-controlled, of course. Of course. You awkwardly get out, because really, how else do you respond to somebody accusing you of being mind-controlled, and then being fine with that? So, something Tomo just said strikes you as odd when you think about it. Hey, Tomo, did Teki ever tell you that Ikai was a yokai before you came here? I kinda just assumed you must have... Wait, what? Did Teki ever tell you that Ikai was a yokai before you came here? I kind of just assumed you must have. But, okay, I think you meant to say must have known. But I'd just like to check. Giving you the cat claw? Tomo responds rather dismissively. Oh, yeah. I already figured it out before she said anything, though. It's easy when you've been around as long as I have. I've been around for a couple yokai births. Excitedly, you ask a question that you didn't think about even. Wait, does that mean you know they're yokai? Where are they? Maybe they could use help or... Dead. The air chills and dies completely. Dead? You stutter out. There isn't a smile or frown when Tomo speaks next. Yet her face is completely flat, without any emotion. They all died soon after they were born. No matter what I did, I couldn't spread their name far enough. Not enough fear or faith. I don't know how many died. I stopped counting quite a while ago. Tomo pulls her hoodie closed, hiding her face from you and muffling her voice, though you can still hear what she says next. That's why I came over. I had seen enough yokai kids dying to know that kid you had was a yokai. Wait, but... God, it's gonna hurt to ask, but you have to know. They all died. Why would you come over? What could you have done? Tomo loosens her hoodie and pulls it off. Her long hair hits the floor. Maybe nothing, but I had to try. Tomo claims she was feeling a bit tired and would need to rest a bit, and that you should do whatever you want right now. You think it's more likely that it just hurt to remember the people she's seen die. The thought flashes in your mind, an image of Youkai lying dead in your bed. How many times did Touhou go through something like that? Something that could have happened to you. Something that was stopped thanks to one person. So filled with determination, you unconsciously use your fragment to move past the thin walls of the shrine and head towards the lake. Time to confront a dragon. I remember I had a problem with this on the reread, and I don't remember why. Oh, I remember why. We're not there yet. Okay, I remember why I had a problem with this on the reread, but we're not there yet. So Miko, okay, so Miko currently has the Dreaming Ghost fragment equipped, right? Like she has the Yuyuko fragment equipped, which allows her to have some ghost powers, which means she could pass through walls, okay? And now she's using the fragment to pass through a wall. I think something happens later that, like, suggests she shouldn't know she can do this. Or doesn't know she can do this. But there's no reason for her not to know. I don't... We'll get to it. We'll get to it, I guess. Waves your hand like a jet. You have no problem with the writing ever. It's the greatest thing ever. You know, I don't need to improve. Holy shit, he's doing the 14-year-old girl on DeviantArt defense. It's time to confront a dragon. Oh fuck, we only got like 8 minutes left in the stream. I might go a little longer because we started kind of late. Also, these storytime streams are always like longer than we think they're gonna be. Also, we're not even halfway done yet. We're not even halfway through the freaking chapter yet. Well, actually, no, we kind of... In terms of posts, we are. In terms of page count, nowhere close. We're on like page 33 of 97. But in terms of how many segments, how many posts, how many passages there are, we're on 5 of 10. So... sort of kind of halfway, but nowhere near halfway. Never used to pay much attention to the lake that was adjacent to the shrine. Sure, you knew that legally it was a part, should be a part, not a part, of the shrine grounds, but that never really mattered much to you. It wasn't like you were gonna go and get a boat and go fishing. Yo, stop, don't meme, fucking stop. Now that you look... I was gonna make a joke about how Miko is Estelle now. You're back for me. Miko's talking about going fishing! Youkai really is gonna become Estelle. Fuck. Next time I draw adult Youkai, she has to have twin tails now. Fuck. You literally wrote this before you played Trails? How have you stolen work? Have you just stolen work? I'm not saying you stolen work. I'm saying I'm seeing commonalities. And it amuses me. Fishing, yeah, you gotta catch all the fish. You gotta fill up the fishing notebook. Gotta get all the legendary tackles and fight the head of the Fisherman's Guild head on and become Supreme Fisher. Become de facto leader of the guild. Or something like that. Maybe Miko is some kind of descendant or ancestor to Estelle. You're making me want to meme, but like if I keep memeing, if I answer your meme seriously, I'm gonna spoil the fuck out of Bob. I can't do it. I can't meme. Now that you're looking out at the lake, it strikes you how beautiful it is. Going inwards into the lake is a set of torii gates that, when looked at together with a torii gate on land, gives the impression of a portal opening up to another world. I always forget that the lake is described as having a torii gate, as torii gates in it, or on the surface of it rather. I always forget that detail. When looked at together with the Torii that's online against it. Okay. You refrain from memeing about Estelle, so you shall meme about another character instead. Make sure it's not a character who spoils. Make sure it's not a character who carries like fucking spoiler energy. I'm not gonna say any more. I'm not gonna say any more than that. Just make sure it's not a character who carries spoiler energy. Let's meme about Annalise. Let's meme about Annalise the dork and her 8 blades, 1 dork school and her obsession with cute things and her being a dork and her grandpa and his sword style that he invented. Let's meme about Grant and how forgettable he allegedly is, according to me. The calm surface of the lake sits naturally still. The pure blue surface reflects back your own face as you look down at the water. Brush your head with your hand. The bags under your eyes, slightly messy hair betray your true feelings at the minute. Well, it's time. Rising from the bottom of your heart, you scream out across the lake her name. Aho! Flash. There she is. From presumably the bottom of the lake, Aho rises with a huge splash, creating a geyser of water. As the water crashes back down into the lake, Aho is there with her arms folded behind her back, a serious look on her face. She's not smiling. Where the water would make contact with her raincoat, instead brought to a sudden hiss and evaporates suddenly. It's brought to a sudden hiss and evaporates suddenly. You know in the back of your mind the oddness of living in a lake when she seems to dislike actually getting wet. What is it, Shrine Maiden? Here to screw things up more? Despite Aho's harsh words, her face displays not a hint of rage that seeps from her voice. Not a hint of the rage that seeps from her voice. You can't help but have a shiver come down your spine at the distance. Gritting your teeth and holding your nerves, you bring forward your courage to speak. What do you mean by screw things up more? You don't want to rush into this. You know what you generally want to say to Aho, but if there's even a small chance to better communicate with each other, you'll take it. What I mean, Aho says, you able to hear her teeth audibly grind together, that you managed to piss off a gal who wanted to help you. Sure, she was a little bitch, but I ain't gonna say you should have done her dirty like that. Ouch. Recoil only a tad at the comment because, well, it is true. The only reason it doesn't sting so much right now, though, is because you've talked with Tomo about things already. I know. If Aho's surprised at your admittance, he doesn't show it. I messed up. So I went and, well, not quite apologized, but came to an understanding with her. Your should be the other your. You're careful when wording that sentence. Considering where this is all about to go, you really don't want to come across as a hypocrite. Aho relaxes slightly, putting her arms to her front, crossed. Instead, Aho relaxes slightly, crossing her arms in front of her instead of behind. Good. Being mean to those that just mean to help is fucked. Wow. Yeah, no. You feel like you are whole face rise in utter confusion at the level of hypocrisy you just heard from Aho then. Is she serious? Does she not notice what she said to and about Tomo? Well, the fact that she hasn't reacted at all, you guess so. Okay. Yeah. Just agree. This isn't the time to argue. Yeah. It's wrong to do that, and that's... Okay, I'm gonna have to, like, rewrite the sentence as I read it. Yeah, it's wrong to do that, and that's why I wanted to tell you something. Better be good. Struggling to keep your composure. Let out your thoughts. I won't apologize. Because you're right. I shouldn't run away from my words. I can't take them back. I sent Teki out to find Tomo. Maybe if you two knew you had the same goal, you'd have never fought. Aho rolls her eyes. Yeah, of course. Dumb shrine maiden. Oh, come on. There's no reason to shake her head like you're some kind of kindergarten student who just pointed out something far too obvious. I want to sigh. But that'd definitely be bad for him. We've come this far. No reason to stop because of rude behavior. I didn't need to be so hard on you and talk down to you like I did. But Okay. But the things I said, I meant because they're based on what I know about you. Aho scoffs at your statement. Dang it, did you do something wrong? You call that harsh? Jeez, you got a long way to go before you can actually upset me with weak-ass words like that. Wait, what? Sometimes you're sarcastic, it seems. Strongly so. I don't understand. I think I missed something in chat. Hold on, so you weren't upset at me for what I said to you? You say absolutely shocked? For someone who showed himself to casually hate Tomo, you're surprised how she's okay with what was said. Of course not. I was angry because you told off the dyke who just wanted to help. And that you was looking sorry for saying shit you mean. Pissed me the hell off. Aho says, waving her hand as if to carry the problem off in the wind. What the hell kind of impression would I give me that you thought I'd care about that stuff? Ha! Oh, good. Aho's smiling again. Bad news, you're seeing those terrifying sharp teeth of hers again. Good news, she's absolutely right about you knowing nothing about her. Oh, God, I know nothing about you. The horror of just how much you let someone who's more or less a complete stranger... The horror of just how much you let someone who's more or less a complete stranger do... Maybe there should be a comma splice here? Like put commas around that? Brings to mind that you might still just be a bit naive. Aho lets out a cackling laugh. She goes on for a few moments, even doubling over from how hard she's laughing. I think she even wipes away a tear before she talks again. Good. That's funny. Especially because I know so much about you, kiddo. What's so funny about that? Okay, now you're just too flustered to be scared of Aho, because now she's just laughing again. It's just that you're so stupid, despite being, well, you! It's getting really annoying now, but Aho's too far away for you to actually get close that you can't fly like her. Feel yourself fuming in frustration. You were trying to have a serious conversation, for goodness sakes. Can Aho at least take this seriously for a bit longer? Though, really... You're incredibly embarrassed by how quickly this entire situation has gotten out of your control. So, Aho claps her hand and points towards you. Why don't we get to know each other then? Eh? Okay. Why don't we get to know each other then, eh? Can't exactly trust each other till we know each other. Can't help but show the surprise on your face at how direct Aho is with her intention. With how direct Aho is with her intention is here. Like, yeah, you were trying to gently lead into asking questions about that, but, well, you're not going to complain about this golden opportunity. But I want a question for a question. You hear me, girlie? Oh, dang it! There's the twist. Well, no. Why should you be worried about this? It's a simple conversation. Chorus kicking in again. Except, the heck does she want to know about you? She said she already knows a lot about you, so why would she? Okay, that sounds fair. You agree that no matter what thoughts you have that make you hesitate, but you agree no matter what thoughts you have that make you hesitate. You need this information, hopefully more than Aho needs information from you. Aho thankfully comes forward and actually sits on a rock near the shore. I gesture you to take a seat too. On a rock. She isn't thinking too hard about this, huh? The rock you sit on is jagged and not comfortable in the slightest, but I won't complain about it out loud. I'll go first, see? Since you kinda still owe me for yesterday. You want to object to Aho's statement, but she's not wrong so much as it pains you. fine. That's fine. We'll let it pass for it. We'll let it pass right now. So first off, I've been watching you for long enough to know that you ain't got an ability. How the hell you been doing all this Senmaku and yokai stuff these past few days? Could be a question mark here. Aho says, giving you an accusatory finger pointing at you. It's all rather dramatic, but it's certainly warranted drama. And concerning drama, because it leads you to wonder just how long Aho's been watching you. Well, you proceed to give Aho a recap of events for thus far. Okay, so this is the first instance we have of a choice being left in the text. At first, I couldn't remember when I was rereading this, I couldn't remember which choice we went with. But when I looked through the Discord and I looked at the votes and I looked at the original post, telling her everything was the one that was chosen. But we had a choice. We could lie about everything. Tell Aho that we're completely clueless on how we got the abilities or how they worked. Which isn't entirely wrong. Like, Miko doesn't know how this shit works. Despite everything you could... Okay, yeah. Leave out some details. We could have just told her half-truths the whole time, but not tell her about, like, Kyohi or the sea. Or we tell her everything because we trust her because she saved you guys' life, or she helped to save you guys' life. And ultimately, I think this is the choice that we ended up going with as readers. I always feel like it bears repeating because you don't ever see these choices in the Google Docs, but this is like an interactive piece of fanfiction. Aho shakes and nods her head the entire time through your story, only occasionally asking for some clarifications about certain things. I see. That's how it is. Never really expected this kind of thing for you. There. Why would you have expectations about me, though, Aho? We only met yesterday. Yet, you talk about knowing me for a long time. Seriously, what's with talking with you like you're an old family friend? It's just too odd. Oh, that. Aho scratches the back of her head and looks away from you. She's got a look that says, man, what a bother. See, I'm basically the guardian of this here shrine. Always happens since... Pain look crosses Aho's face. Since a long time. Sorry about your parents, by the way. So then, Aho's been watching you long enough to know what happened with Mom and Dad? That's... If you've been around that long, why did you only show yourself now? You asked desperately. You need to know because maybe... Just maybe... Because you Hakure folks and I had a deal. I'd be in no-show until one of y'all started to show some kind of ability. And just you ain't gonna waste a question, Aho says, giving you serious looks. Can't say who I made that deal with or why. Matter of pride as a dragon not to say that kind of thing. Frown forms on your face. Hearing such tantalizing information, but being forbidden from learning any more about it. Your family has known about Aho before now? And they even had a deal? Why did you know about this? And did Mom and Dad not trust you enough before they... You shake away the negative thoughts that are trying to invade your mind. This isn't the time to let doubt start creeping in your head after all. Guess that leads into my... Wait. Okay. That's Aho. Excuse me. Guess it leads into my question, though. You seriously didn't know crap about your family history till now? Aho looks surprisingly concerned when she asks you. Did you read your mind about the situation? Yeah, I didn't know much about the Hakure name, honestly. Still don't. God, it's embarrassing to admit this to someone. Anyone. You didn't like to talk about just how little you know about these sort of things. That ain't really an answer, you know. May as well explain what you mean. Hell, I'll be kind to you. Give you 2 questions after if you do explain. Aho giving you a simple option like that? Well then, you'd be a fool not to take it. Okay, then, so all I know is that Hakure is an old, and I mean really old family name in Zen. We've been here since before the Moon Project started even. And we're the last family that practiced any kind of religion in the region too. I learned that part at school. Painful memories of children and teachers speaking down to you for simply being who alive. as a Hakure try to surface, but you push them back down. Those times are long gone. No need to think. There's no need to think about them again. Also, it's like an interesting little bit of vagary, some vague memery going on here. Maybe we'll find out what the Moon Project is later, or maybe it's just a not so subtle reference to Project Moon. I don't know. That's it? Oh, it says sounding unimpressed. Yeah, that's it. You respond. Impressed at your own lackluster answer. A moment of quiet before you resume questioning Aho. Dude, do you know Teki? You said something before that just made me think you might. It's a change of topic, but we appreciate doing so after the awkward end to what was just asked. That what you asking? Really? Aho says, looking completely confused. Kinda an odd thing to say. Kinda an odd thing to ask, but I'll say. Wait, fuck, I can't read. Kinda an odd thing to ask, I'll say, but what the hell? Shrugging her shoulders, Aho looks like she really just doesn't care much about where this question is going at all. But for you, it's hopefully a deeper glimpse into Aho's past. Yeah, you give as resolute answers, even though yeah is only one answer. You have to know more about Aho. Fine. Yeah, I think I met the gal a long time ago. She's kind of cute little kid. Didn't know much of anything. Talked about stuff, I think, and then parted ways. Kind of surprised to see her again, but she ain't seemed to remember me. I'd say what a shame, but I frankly didn't remember her until we started talking. There, another opening. Then my second question is, where did you two meet? This is important. Maybe you can learn Silkio, of course. Huh? What? Isn't that... Hold on, that name sounds familiar. Isn't that the Land of Fantasy? Place where I met your ancestors. Place you're looking to be interested in? Huh? Ah! You're giving too much away! I was looking at you with the domineering grin of someone who knows they've won. Wait. Won? Since when do you start seeing this conversation as some kind of a competition between... Is that some kind of... I can't read. Wait, what? Since when did you start seeing this conversation as some kind of competition instead of friendly chat to get to know each other more? Waving her hand to casually blow away the issue, Aho responds in what you realize may not have been a scheming tone. But instead of a casual one. I'll tell you later. Promise. I'm just feeling kind of tired is all. Give me one hell of a long talk. Okay, so I want us all to keep in mind that Miko now, after having this conversation, she now knows. It's now been confirmed for her that Kinsokyo is like actually the name of the Land of Fantasy. Like this place she's been referring to as the Land of Fantasy, where all the fragments come from. She now knows its actual name. It's gonna be important later. Or it's not gonna be important later, but I'm gonna meme on it later. Where were we? Okay. You feel weird. Like you weren't quite you for a time now. When did you get so suspicious of Aho to the point where you'd be unwilling to let go on a conversation? Maybe you should have some time alone after this. Okay, yeah, that sounds fine. I'm actually feeling a bit tired myself. I know it'd break the pattern, but could I ask you one more question? Pause. Aho puts a hand up to her face and tilts it to the side and looks beyond the sky in a deep though. After what feels like an eternity, nervous that you might have upset the dragon, she responds, sure. He'll owe me an answer, but I'll be willing, she says dismissively. Good. There's been one thing that's bothered you since last night. You won't pursue the topic quite the same way since it clearly upset Aho when you did, so instead you'll approach it from another stance. How did you give me that knowledge yesterday? It's just kind of suddenly entered my head, and I know you probably did it, but how? Been bothering you. You suddenly have a sudden influx of information in your head, but no idea how it happened past the dragon likely did it. It's a surprise tool that'll help us later. Yes, the true name of Gensokyo is the meme. Like, when Miko remembers to say it out loud at the right moment, like, bam, Yukari's gonna show up, and everything's gonna be okay. There, I just spoiled the ending of the story for you. Now we don't need to read it anymore. Okay, there we go. We're done. We're good. Okay, bye. Okay, obviously, I'm just memeing. Obviously, I'm just memeing. Obviously, I'm just memeing, okay? I thought we'd get to some side stories. I thought we'd get to some side story chapters, but that's probably not gonna happen. We're probably gonna finish, like, maybe... We're gonna try to aim to finish, like, around halfway through this chapter and pick up next stream. And maybe do some side story chapters during that stream. But let's continue. Excuse me. Let's continue. You suddenly have an influx of information in your head, but you have no idea how it happened past the dragon likely did it. That? No, that's easy. Tis my ability. I give others whatever knowledge I have to them entirely. It's only once, though. Oh, so everything you know now is what Aho knew too? That must mean... Wow. She's, well, really knowledgeable then, huh? You don't think you could go through the entirety of information that you've easily gotten if devoted even an entire day to doing so. For her to know so much is amazing. It's incredible, Aho. You know that much about yokai? You excitedly ask Aho. After all, you know so much about yokai. What else could she know? Maybe even more about fantasy and truth. Aho's grin threatens to rip her mouth off. Ha, yeah. I'm absolutely everything. I know. Oh, rough. Yeah, I am know absolutely everything, more or less. But, I'm not gonna be bragging here. She gives a hearty laugh. Because the dragon's got no need to brag. We're already the best there is. Understanding of just how much she knows now, and already having a good impression of how strong Aho must be from the brief spat with Tomo, you don't find yourself disagreeing with her. So this part where Aho describes her ability, apparently that's important. I thought that was a narrative inconsistency, but it's actually something that's important. I don't know in what way it's important. I just know it's apparently important. So just remember how she described it. I need to... Where were we? Okay. Now then. Heard you were thinking about resting up. Aho changed the subject with the ease of a freight train ramming into a cargo ship. But before you do that, why don't we all have some lunch together? I missed your breakfast, and I'd like to see what the latest maiden of Hot Gray can do. The rare instance where you're not a massive... I thought it was like a huge inconsistency, and then during one of your writing sessions, you told me like, no, you're telling me like I noticed the right things there. Apparently, it's something important, but I don't know in what way yet. That hasn't been revealed. The memes have not been unveiled. She's asking you that, but isn't her stepping up next to you and putting her arm around your shoulder a bit forward? And I guess before you do anything else, you are feeling a bit hungry, and everyone is likely feeling hungry now too. Sure, I don't see why not. There's the spirit. Wow. Aho, you don't need to drag me to the shrine. Aho! You scream as Aho flies, taking you off the ground and into the shrine interior. Even though you can't help but feel terrified as you're brought back to the shrine, you feel an indescribable relief. You fixed things. You managed to save your relationship with Aho and Tomo from what's been the brink of destruction. For your tears and cries of terror, you can't help but smile. Okay, how long is this part, I wonder? Here now. We're here. Hang on. 41, 44. Oh, that's like fucking nothing. 41, 58. Let's go through this Fate Go chevron first, and we'll see where we're at time-wise. The landing was more than a little rough, but you and Aho arrive at the shrine and take your steps inside. Sitting down at the table in the middle of the room, you spot Teki and Igai talking. Or really, Teki talking to Igai. Igai is more or less just looking very confused as Teki talks to her. No, wait, you're thinking she looks more uncomfortable, sadly. Heck, you'd be willing to say that Igai looks worse off right now than when she was dying. What the heck has Teki been doing with Igai? It hasn't even been 4 hours! Sure, you don't know what happened, but you won't allow any bit of awkwardness to occur between the two, so you have to interrupt. Hey guys, everything fine? Wah! Oh god, you don't have any balance yet. Sadly, that thought only passes through your mind as you stumble and trip, landing face first onto the floor. Ow. Give out a slight moan of pain as you wish you had proper sky legs, you guess? Thankfully, you feel someone grab hold of your hands and pull you up. Opening your eyes, you see it's Tomo. Yeah, she must have heard you falling down like an idiot and come in to see what's going on. Doing well there? Tomo says, giggling all the while, but she pulls you to your feet. Yeah, sorry if I got you worried. I was just surprised is all. You say, rubbing the back of your head, embarrassed by acting like such a fool after leaving on such a good note with everyone. Sure you should be touching her like that? Oh, now it'd be Aho, seemingly upset with Tomo helping you up for some reason? It's hard not to be worried for a second when you see those two look at each other. There's still an underlying anger between the two. But just before you think they'd start getting at each other's throat again, Tomo turns away. Yeah, I should. Rude not to help, don't you think? Tomo says with an overly aggressive tone. But it's not quite so angry, you notice. It sounds more like exhausted? Did your conversation with her really knock the wind out of her so strongly? Oh, uh-oh. Ouch. Oh, man. I was taking a drink of water to help my throat, and then it went down my windpipe, so now I had to force myself to cough, and that just upset my throat. Fucking awesome. Great. Thanks. People got some manners after all. Aho responds in kind. But sounds really relieved, you'd say. Does she actually care about Tomo in some strange way? Huh. You guess that would be in line with what she was saying before when you were talking to Aho. You can't take this atmosphere though, even if it's not full of rage. Excuse me. You're compelled to change things up. Hey, why don't I make lunch for everyone? It's about that time, right? Oh, yeah, she said it. It's about that time. Good night, everybody. I'm memeing. I'm memeing. I'm still memeing. When the one thing that's supposed to help you tries to kill you, for real. Time to stay up all night in the hopes that you'll get off your arse and get things done that need to get done? Oh no. See you in 2069! Oh no! You're just gonna make Bob feel worse. Alright. Oh, you can't take this atmosphere though. Even if it's not full of rage, you're compelled to change things up. Hey, why don't I make lunch for everyone? It's about that time, right? Please take the bait. Please take the bait. Please! Hell yeah! Oh, thank God. I was biting it. She's pumping up her fist in excitement for lunch. Why not? Breakfast was kind of tasty, if I'm being honest. Tomo gives you some reassurance as well. Though you won't show it outwardly, you feel a bit of pride for having someone compliment your cooking. Is that okay, Big Sis? I don't need to eat if I don't need to eat if you do. Oh, it's supposed to be like if you don't want it. Yeah, whatever. I read that wrong. Igai begins to speak, obviously doubting the effort you're putting into her still. But thankfully, you don't need to speak up this time. Techie takes care of that for you. Of course it's fine. If Miko wants to make food, that's great. Hey, maybe I can even help this time. Oh no. I've even got tons of recipes in my notebook. You give a shaky smile out to Techie. You really don't look forward to cooking all of a sudden. She cooks and she fishes. She really is a stealth. Also, I forgot to push the text back. Igai's been covering a little bit of the text, unfortunately. It's more than a bit of a chaotic mess cooking this time. Well, with Techie cooking with you and trying out new recipes and trying to keep everyone behaving well while the food cooks. Things are real hectic. But thankfully, everyone ends up eating nice and loudly. Well, you would have liked to eat in peace and quiet, but everyone other than Igai, obviously... Everyone other than Igai, obviously, think that's a terrible idea. Because yes, they talk so much it begins to make your ears ring. Okay, it took me a second to realize who's talking here. Hey, don't you think you're eating a mite too fast? Save some for the rest of us. I ain't eat too much. Hell, I eat way less than you, Dragon. So I decided to pamper myself once in a while. There's probably enough for everyone, guys. Come on, we should all just share. Hey, wait. Isn't it a bit late for lunch, Dragon? Don't you think we should at least be having proper dinner by now? Oh, lunch, dinner. Who gives a crap? Food's food, after all. I think this matters, though. Oh, poor you guys completely drowned out of completely drowned out whenever she tries to join the conversation. Not the memes. Stop. You can't stop me from memeing. It's never gonna happen. Every part of the screen you see now on stream, except for chat, exists because of memes. The Estelle faces on the top left, that's an extremely old stream meme. Those have been there since we basically finished second chapter. Because I kept forgetting to put them there while we were playing second chapter. And I didn't end up putting them there until we got to the final dungeon. Smiling Sussy... What the fuck is Sussy Jack? Is that like Jack the Ripper, except instead of being a serial murderer, he's a redditor? Also, could I have fucking said that any worse? Is that when Jack the Ripper isn't a serial murderer and is instead a redditor? There we go. That's how I should have enunciated those words. Yes, almost literally yes. Oh shit. Imagine Raiden as a redditor. Oh no. Excuse me. There's still some water in my windpipe. Oh, poor you guys completely drowned out whenever she tries to join the conversation. Maybe you could let them keep talking longer, but you've still got quite a bit on your mind. You mean... Okay, here's another one. You mean. If this was first person, it would be Miko saying, I mean, which would make a lot more sense. Siri Redditor, total not PogChamp. Okay. Okay. Look. It's a story time stream. We're reading a fan fiction. So fan fiction's happening in chat now. It's fine. Also, welcome, Shadowy Bell. Where the heck was I? Alright. Day is nearly over, speaking honestly. Or with the sun setting as you eat, but there's still things to do. First off, you should definitely be taking a look through the Gotsugo Chronicles again. There's still so much you haven't really read in there. And this would obviously be a great time to get into it. Poem, feel free to read it out loud. We'll have to do a separate story time stream for that one then. First off, you should definitely be taking a look at the Gintoku Chronicles again. There's still so much you haven't read in there. It's about to be a great time to get. It was obviously a great time to get into it. Then there's a new fragment, which you haven't even spent a single moment testing out. You know some of the basics from the intimate knowledge you gained from each fragment, but could you really phase through object? Float off the ground? You'll never really know the extent to these new abilities unless you start experimenting with them. And well, you've already talked with almost everyone here today, but you still haven't spoken to Teki yet. Yeah, you do have a few questions you'd like to ask her, but is it essential to talk with her tonight? That's not mentioning the obvious role. That's not mentioning the obvious hole in the past day or in the ceiling. Kyohi, you haven't heard from her for some time. I made myself laugh because it was raining just yesterday. We forgot about the fucking hole in the ceiling. That's not mentioning the obvious hole in the past day or the ceiling. Kyohi, you still haven't heard from her for some time. Maybe this time you'll finally. Last, there's something rather important to still think about. That rumor about things suddenly disappearing and reappearing overnight or across days. Originally you thought of it as just a meaningless but interesting rumor, but now you know the reality of the world you live in. It's obviously something to do with yokai. If you want to find out more about the world and answers to your problems, you'll find it through talking with them. A new perspective should help, right? Okay, so that's a detail I glossed over when I was giving you the recap before Tactical Trooper. In the prologue, when Miko first acquired the power of the fragments being like these leftover bits and pieces, we don't quite know the exact nature of them yet, but the fragments being like these leftover kind of bits and pieces of the residents of the Land of Fantasy, which we now know from Aho is called Gensokyo. So basically the Touhous. It's like fragments of like their abilities that Miko is then able to use when she equips them. So the first fragment we acquired was the fragment of the Yokai of Dusk, so Rumia. And the first thing Miko did with that fragment was shoot a Danmaku bullet through her ceiling. So there's now a hole in the roof, in a room in the shrine somewhere. And in the previous chapter, when she was helping Igai, it rained. So somewhere in the shrine, there's like a puddle of water right now. Or was a puddle of water. Okay, so that's about as far as I think I feel like we're gonna go for today, because we're about to get into page 44 out of 97. We're not quite halfway, but like it's kind of sort of almost halfway. And some of that might be my fault, because I did go off on a few tangents, and I did go off on a couple of like hypotheses I had, and this, that, and the other. But I mean, okay, so you know, okay, it's fine, it's okay, it's fine, it's okay. But anyway, we're gonna call it here. Halfway. Chapter 3 is over 90 pages. Tak, do you want to know how long Chapter 4 is? Would you like to inquire as to how long Chapter 4 is? Would you like... Oh, fuck, I'm actually showing you. I'm not supposed to show you. That's spoilers. Okay, I'm gonna hide it, but... I'm gonna hide it because we're done. Do you want to know how long Chapter 4 is? Chapter 5, currently... Chapter 5 is the current chapter. Chapter 5 is currently 32 pages. That's how long Chapter 2 is, and Chapter 5 is nowhere fucking near done yet. Chapter 4... Oh, it's still loading. It's still loading on the Google Doc. Okay, you ready, Tak? Do you want to take a guess at how long Chapter 4 is? Like, you want to just take a wild guess? Just throw a number out and see if you land close. You don't have to get the exact number, just like throw something out and see if you're close. No? 200? Yo! You hit it! It's 201! You got it in one guess! Why won't your comment load? You might have said a no-no thing that YouTube doesn't like, or you might have said something completely innocuous that YouTube, for whatever reason, still doesn't like. I've got my chat window on live chat, and the chat window on stream is also on live chat. So it's probably YouTube blocking something you're saying. You were joking. Unfortunately, your joke came true. You've been writing a story called Dragon Ache Awakening? Feel free to read it next if I'd like. Okay, interesting. That's something I can easily find if I Google it. It's probably, if I try and Google it, it's probably gonna show me like Dragon Age, right? Oh. Fanfiction.net, fanfic, Dragon Age Awakening, Chapter 1, Viva Pinata fanfiction? Is that what you're talking about? Not a fan. Bro, I don't even know what this is. Oh yeah, by Shadow Eval. Okay. Okay, this first chapter doesn't seem too long. And it's this one. Which, not to talk shit about fanfic.net, but that's like pretty typical. Like usually chapters are like pretty short. In terms of like word count. Or at least they're fucking shorter than post-fantasy chapters in any case. Which isn't saying much because most chapters in like fucking novels are shorter than post-fantasy chapters, let's be fair. Okay, maybe, okay. I don't know the memes. So like I know Viva Pinata is a thing. I don't know the memes, so I'm probably a lot of the stuff there is gonna go way over my head. Just if you really want me to read it, I don't mind. But if I do, just know that like probably a ton of the stuff is gonna go right over my head. I don't know fuck all about Viva Pinata. I know it was a thing at one point, and that's about all I know. Post-fantasy, each chapter is like the length of a singularity in Fate Go. Hang on. We know that chapter 4 is 201 pages. Let's see the word count. Rules, word count. Here we go. So, okay. So, chapter 4 is like 83,000 words by itself, which 40,000 words is a novella. 60,000 words, if I remember correctly, 50 or 60,000 words is a novel. Chapter 4 by itself is 83,000. There aren't any memes for it. You've done your best to make it understandable. You can read it if it... I mean, okay, like, when I say memes, I should probably, explain. The way I use memes is, like... The way I use the word meme is, like, kind of different from the way, like, maybe a lot of people use the word meme. I don't mean, like, internet meme. I mean meme in, like, a similar sense to like maybe the way like Richard Dawkins originally intended the word to be used. I usually use it in place of other words that I can't think of at the moment, but usually I use it to mean like an idea or a gag or a joke. Like those are the words that I would usually replace with the word meme, or the kind of words I would usually replace with the word meme. So like, what I mean when I say that I don't know the memes is I don't know enough about like Viva Pinata to like I probably won't pick up on like a lot of there's probably a lot of things I won't pick up on if I read that, and that's it. So like if you depending on what you're trying to go for in terms of like what you're writing, I might not pick up on it like I would with post fantasy, because with post fantasy I'm a lot more familiar with Touhou. But with your story, I'm not really familiar with Viva Pinata at all. People have never heard of the game before, understand what's going on without your assistance? You think I can? Okay, alright. If you have confidence, then I'll give it a shot. I'll look it over. I bookmarked that, so I'll look it over, and maybe when we finally finish, when we finally get to the end of chapter 4 of post fantasy on stream, maybe we can take a look at that next for even more story time. It'll be interesting, I guess. Why do you suddenly feel warm and fuzzy all of a sudden? Why does this always happen when streamers read your I mean, look, I don't mean to take the wind out of your sails. I'm a pretty fucking small streamer though, so like anytime anybody puts like anytime anybody says anything in my chat, I notice. Like I'm a pretty small streamer, so like I try to pay attention to what's happening in chat, because I know that's like a huge appeal for watching a live stream, is the fact that like you have that degree of interaction, right? This is why you're never getting more than one beta reader or proofreader for the freaking story without paying so much money. It's a lot of words. It is a lot of words, to be fair. You've subbed and put notifications on as well. You like the stream. Oh, thank you. Very kind. But anyway, it is way past the time where we would normally stop. I'm gonna always want to try this. Oh, I stopped it with a fade out. Isn't that fancy? Isn't that like the coolest shit? Oh, okay. Winamp like locked up, like froze up for a second. It scared me. I stopped it with a fade out. Isn't that like the coolest thing? Alright, let me find something to play us out with. I'm not going to do that because that's still spoilers for Bob, because he's still in the middle of playing first chapter, so I'm not going to do that. Do this one, this choice. Anyway, that's going to be it for now. Thanks for watching, for stopping by, for chatting. See you all next time, unless... Oh wait, this isn't Exceeded Bytes' channel. I don't have to say that part anymore. Oh fuck, dude. When I transition to streaming on my own channel, it's gonna be so freaking hard to get out of the habit of saying my usual spiel at the end. It's gonna be so hard to get out of saying, thanks for watching, for stopping by, chatting. See you all next time, unless Exceeded Bytes sees first. It's gonna be so hard to not say that part. Wattpad might have some of your art later for the chapters, but you don't know. Oh, okay. Speaking of art, thanks for reminding me. Little girl on the right side of the screen there, that's Youkai, one of the characters from this story. And also, joining her soon, maybe for the next... Oh, whoops, I've moved something I didn't want to move. Joining her next time, maybe, if I get around to it, for the next stream, we're gonna have Aho here. I'm gonna try and include Aho somehow into this post-fantasy storytime business. Only thing is, I'm gonna have to make sure she's in color first. I'm gonna have to give her transparency, and then like that way, you know, she'll fit, and then like we'll put her here or something, right? So that she fits in. But right now, she's still in grayscale, so she's not exactly ready for prime time, right? So we gotta wait on that. We gotta wait on that a bit. You're also an art YouTuber. Okay, interesting. I've actually been thinking about maybe doing some art streams like once in a while. I don't know what I would do though. I don't know what I would do. Yo, you know what might be a cool idea? I've had half a mind, like this year for Drawtober, I've thought that like, okay, what if I like record my drawings and like put like do like a speed lapse of them and like post those like every week or whatever. But like what if I did that plus the ones I did on Saturday? Like I just live stream them. That could be like a cool idea, right? I've been thinking about maybe like live streaming like myself drawing. That could be kind of fun for anybody who cares to watch. I don't know. I feel weird about like live streaming drawing. I feel like like watching drawing is kind of boring if you're not an artist. I feel like it kind of depends on how interested you are in the process, but I feel like if you're not an artist, watching somebody else drawing is probably boring as fuck if it's not like sped up or something. Anyway, I really have to call it for the night. It's about that. It's way past that time. We've gone like almost an hour later than we normally would. Thanks everybody for watching. Good night. Oh wait, hang on. I'll respond to what Bob said. Good night. You're gonna stay up all night fixing your problems. No, don't fix the old shit, because the old shit is what it is at this point. You know, just know the problems are there. Keep moving forward. Next time, good cat. Also, it's only a few months from Drawtober. A few months. Try like one. Try 1 month. We're at the end of August right now, and September is like next month. Drawtober is like Drawtober is like a month away. Nanarima, yo, more post fantasy. That's right, and now you got me excited for November. Dude, now I'm looking forward to the end of September for Trails from Zero, and I'm looking forward to November for More Post Fantasy. That'll be great. Don't worry, like it's like a trail stream. Alright, anyway, for real this time. For real this time. Good night. Thanks for watching.